Hey, let's fucking go. Mindset, mindfulness, Monday, grand rising gods and motherfucking goddesses. We're in for a long journey this week, and I want you to strap in and get ready for the ride. We're going to charge all the way to fuck up. Oh, you might not be at your desk, but when you get to that turntable, DJ Crazy Man, spin that intro.
Just received an
It's the Think Hard crew. Yeah. Yeah. It's the Think Hard crew. What up? Yeah. It's the Think Hard crew, you know. It's the Think Hard crew. What up? It's the Think Hard crew. Yeah.
We may have had our differences. We may have had our differences. The suppression of the use of marijuana. The suppression.
It's the Think Hard crew. Yeah.
Think hard crew, yeah, 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 think.
Welcome to my hood, where ain't nothing normal. You can take a walk in my hood, where everything paranormal. Everything paranormal. If you scared of dying, we got something for you. Open up the door, you can be immortal. If you really trying to rise, step into the portal.
If you're really trying to rise, step into the portal.
Y'all fuck me.
Boy,
Y'all
do we
fuck
have
me
a
up,
portal
bro.
for you today.
Oh, what up, Nove? What up, Tick? What up, Sue? What up, Mega? Grand Rising, everybody.
And just like that, there's more women than there are men on the show.
Bruh, that's the first time though we hopped on, and it was like 9 people are here immediately. I was like, holy shit! Oh my gosh! Oh, damn! Already, we ready for today? Y'all missed us?
Good morning.
That's what's up. We got a fucking show for y'all today, Nova. Would you want to tell them about how we gonna do this week here, or you want to maybe just go ahead and fall off into the numbers
Yeah,
and
let's just do that because I think we just go right into it when we
all right.
when we
Well,
get
because
done
yeah,
with numbers and
it's gonna be
astrology.
a lot of information and shit, and we're gonna break down what we're gonna do for you today. But
Yeah, I just
it's
want to be able to get done this week, and I know it's going to take every day.
yo, and most definitely, if we might have to
But
combine the day.
everybody, I know everybody don't exactly know what we're finna talk about, but everybody does know what we're
Yeah.
about to talk about. Like everybody, I think on this panel is extremely versed in what we're finna talk about in one area or the other, or maybe all of them. So it's the Think Hard crew. We're finna jump into the numbers.
Let's get it. I appreciate y'all for bouncing back with us another week. We're charging up on Monday. Mindset, mindfulness, Monday, February the 19th, 2024. To get into the new Morales, we're going to add today's date all the way up to know the vibration. You might be new to this. You might not be new to this. You might know what the fuck is up and whatever ology, etiology, numerology you like to follow. This definitely will, what you want to say, quote unquote, reflect. But anyways, today's February the 19th, 2024. So you take the 2 plus the 19 plus the 2024, you get 2045. Break that down one more time. You get the 2 plus the 0 plus the 4 plus the 5, and you end up with 11. 11 down south or 11 up north. And then with the 11, you add the 1 plus the 1, you get the 2. Some people will leave it at 11. Some may or may not reduce that again, but If you left it at 11, it will definitely be considered a calendar day, more specific to you personally. And if you reduce it one more time to the 2, you get more of a global day number. So we're going to stick with that because we have callers and listeners all around the globe. And today's number of 2, you already know. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 is cooperation. It's diplomatic. It's a balance. It's a yin and a yang. Teamwork's likely to be more effective to get the job done than an individual fucking effort. Expect new or more attention to improving your relationships that are around you. And the value of friendship is going to be more likely noticed today with a vibration of 2. It's an anime day, I like to say, because in anime, like if you watch it, you be like, get the fuck out of here. Friendship will not be a giant dragon. But anyways, that's the type of shit that happens in animes. But with the global day 2, comes with a bit of a relief though from the intensity of yesterday. You might have felt that on Sun's Day yesterday, that it brought with it. But today will be a much gentler approach, even though we're gonna be coming with some deep ass facts. Much less dynamic than the day before, but don't be fooled in the complacency of 2. There's strength in it. There's grace. There's poise. There's integrity. Diplomacy. It's a great day for, like I said before, group activities, but provided that your, numerology, your personal cycle is in sync with that. So like I always tell you guys, your personal numerology, etiology, whatever ology is going to take precedent over whatever the global vibration. It's going to be up to you to determine what you do with today's 2's energy to use it to the best. You're going to blend your cycle number with it. And if you feel creative or whatever, then you should choose to express yourself and be fueled with that balance in the symmetry and express it outward. Work on your patience as well inward, trying to take the heat out on situations that may pop up. So it's a number of duality, 2 is. And so for every positive point, there's a negative point, but that doesn't necessarily mean good or bad. So avoid the whining though. And if you see others getting jellies or green, bitter, or crabby, let them cool off before determining whether you need to cut them off or take further action in general. So that is what's going to be happening for today's vibrations of the Dos. Right beneath me, I have my sister Mega Water. Do you have the astrology or the cardology for us today?
Yes, sir.
I don't know why. I just
Getting
felt that
to it. All
Jamaican
right.
vibe. Forget.
I'm gonna just step in with Happy Lunar New Year, the year of the Wood
Oh
Dragon,
shit.
like Jason just said. We're completing that week. We started a week ago, and they celebrate the Lunar New Year for an entire week, and we're completing that as of yesterday. So just remember, dragons always look cute when you're looking at a picture of them or something, um, 2D rather. But when they open their mouth and breathe fire, remember it's very hot and it can burn you. So, this is a year in Chinese astrology to really step into your being and accept who you are and put that out fully to the world. It's a year for big moves and for, making grandiose plans and then trying to live up to them. So, definitely, they always look cute, but remember they come with a little bit of a backlash. So, that being said, we have clear energy for air today. We have a few planets in air and we have a few planets in water. So it's a little bit of a game of dodgeball between those two. You're going to have people wanting to stay home in their comfy, cozy sweats and eat cake and watch Netflix. And then you're going to have people who are wanting to go out and mingle with other people and have intelligent conversations. So it's about finding your tribe today and making sure that you're, doing what you need to be doing. The moon, though, is in Cancer. So if you are ruled by any Cancer planets or you have a lot of Cancer in your chart, you're definitely going to probably be feeling called to clean your home, cook, make things nicer, buy things for your house, those kind of things. But definitely, you're going to have two groups of people. They're split directly down the middle, and hopefully, some of the fire signs can move the energy one way or the other. That's what I have for you today. And the card I have is the Page of Swords. So the page is always the young energy, and it is, showing you kind of like what you need to do, and it may be a little bit overzealous with its plans, but you can definitely do it if you make a plan and stick to your plan. It's a little bit of a wild card energy and does not sit still. It's kind of like a 2-year-old that you just gave, candy to. So if you are exhausted, sit down and take a rest and then just keep following the plan that you have for yourself. If you don't know the plan, it's good to check in with elders or advisors that might be able to help redirect you on your path if you get off track or forget what you are supposed to be doing. But you will have crazy ideas coming in. This is now the first day of Pisces season. So, intuitive downloads, spiritual upgrades, new ways of thinking, and emotional balance
Welcome
will
to
be
my
all the
world.
topics that you can work on during this Pisces
I'm about to.
season. So, if you need additional assistance, go ahead and let me know. And I'm turning the
Hey.
mic over to the other people on the panel.
On the panel. I relinquish my time,
Phew.
Senator. Back
I
to you. Back to you.
relinquish. Man, so hey, so I just want to say, ever since we've been on Podbean, we've done a few deep dives, but not for real, for real. And so I think today we're gonna get back to that. And this whole week, I bet you we blow minds because
Yes,
mine was
guaranteed.
blown when I stumbled upon this
Shit.
documentary. Susan sent it to me and was like, "Have you ever seen this?" And man, I've seen so
Who?
many documentaries. I was like, "All right, I'm gonna check it out." And it was like
Mm-hmm.
2 days, and she asked me like, "Did you ever watch that?" Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Man, let me watch it." And then I watched it, and then I was like, "Holy
Mm.
shit!"
And this
Like,
guy,
whoa, whoa,
and
whoa.
this guy tells
I
me
thought
like,
I was, I thought I was, I was like, I really
uh,
learned a lot of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I agree. I mean, I feel like I know a shit ton of fucking useless fucking information about shit that's connected to shit that like what blows my
Yeah, it's
mind
like, I mean, is it
is the
really going to
connection.
change our lives? Probably not
I
today,
mean, it
but
might. Well, might what it would do is it'll make you mindful. I mean, because this whole week is almost going to be like we're going to combine why we're mindful, why we fuck around, find out what's the what the fuck. I mean, like we might even
and the
pop in on
music on
and the
Friday.
music on Friday, but like this thing is like way bigger than that. You know what I mean? It's always been bigger than us, and
And
it's
this is
definitely
just one episode. There's
yeah. So
6 episodes of this docu-series. This
right. So
shit is
let's
so
let's break it down then. So so Susan found it. Susan sent the docu series to Nova. Nova's like, "Yo, you got to check this out." So I've
for
been
how
watching it.
long?
Yeah, I know. I watched it all the way through, right? But
No,
you know
hold on,
me,
hold on, hold on. But for how long have I been saying, "Hey, I need you to check this documentary
for
out, man,
about
because we need to do something on it."
a week,
Hold on, how long?
for
What
about a week,
documentary?
About 2 weeks.
about I'm gonna say a week.
I sent it to you too. You never replied, so you wasn't interested either.
What? I don't
Jason
No,
blew me
remember
off
getting it.
about it.
I did
Yeah, I
not
said
blow you off about it. Listen, at the
Jason
time,
blew me off.
oh,
Megawatt blew me off.
he go try
No,
to
I didn't. What is
I
it?
need
he
I need a
fucking
way to get I need a way to get in touch with Tick Radio because I could email it to her. Maybe she'll probably blow me off too.
oh my
Everybody wants to
gosh.
blow me off until they
Look
watch it.
at
And then when Jason watched, he was like, "Oh shit, man!" He was like, "Motherfucker, I done took about 15 notes or 15
15
pages of notes.
pages.
I'm ready
Yeah.
for this shit now." And I'm like, I'm over here yawning and shit. Yeah, man, I hear you.
Yeah,
Oh,
hey,
you ready now?
hey, I
Okay,
didn't blow
shit,
him
let's
off.
go.
He acting like we have a fucking shit pile of work for me as well as the back. I like to call them our back end squad for the Think High crew. We was all busting ass. We got a lot of shit done with our website and getting everything in order on the back end. People got their merchandise delivered. There was a lot of shit. And Nova knows he just talking shit
Yeah,
because
he
we was
is.
all working on something that was a little bit more important. You know what I mean? Than catching a
And
docu
please,
series.
please
But his
remember,
but
he's
his
awake 24 hours a
oh
day. So
yeah,
let's
this mother.
just please remember that, okay?
But this motherfucker Nova though, that was his assignment for his assignment was finding shit for us to talk about. So he was definitely like he was like, yo, y'all motherfuckers just gonna blow me. He was talking shit to us. But let me tell you, I did watch it though. You know what I mean? The thing was, it was so
Two
much
weeks later.
it was so much information a week later. It was so much. I watched it again so I could take the notes. You know what I'm saying? It was so much fucking information that I was like, I can't talk. Like Nova might be able to just go ahead and pop it off at the fly, right off the top of his head. But it was so much fucking information for me. I was like, I'm gonna have to. I was like, bro, I'm gonna have to sit down and like take notes with this shit, bro. And he's
No,
like, well,
I'm
here's
sure
what you.
you'll be way more detailed, but I just, like I said, I
Yeah,
watched it. You know what I mean? And I've
yeah.
I've
Well,
been
I watched
talking
it for
about it on this
entertainment.
show.
You
Check
know
it
what I
out.
mean?
I've been
I know you
talking
have.
about it. I've been talking about it on the show for about 2 weeks, week
Yeah,
and a
he
half.
has.
I just ain't really brought it up because I was like, let me just keep dropping little dimes on this shit.
You
Let
did.
me
You
move the
did.
universe.
You did. Well, okay, so but we're here now, right?
But
So we're here
but
in this spot
before we
now.
get into
Okay.
it, I want to read this, which
Okay.
was the first thing basically that pops up on the screen of this documentary.
Awesome.
Now, first of all, I want to
You read my
say that
mind.
we don't feel any way, shape, or form that this documentary feels. We are just giving the review on it, basically. That's it.
Right.
A
Yes.
review on this documentary.
And then our
And
perspective on the information that's inside the documentary. We're not claiming that it's
right.
100% fact.
And
We
I
will
don't
give you.
endorse the scripture that I'm about to read from the King James Version, but I think that it goes with this whole documentary, the
Yeah.
vibe of all of it. So it's
Yeah.
Ephesians 6:12, right? It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." Now, whatever that means to you,
Mm-mm.
if it don't mean shit, it might mean something about 30 minutes in. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Absolutely. But
it
now,
doesn't have anything to do with a religion. That is a
right.
straight up. That's why I wanted to read
It's
that,
very,
because it's
yeah.
not religious. It's real balanced in the metaphysical and the physical.
Right. But also, please stick with us and bear with us because what we follow is going to be a timeline of human beings and their connections in general. Okay,
And
that's what we're going to
also,
start with.
this
So it's
is
going to seem
fucking
like sporadic.
live. Okay, it's live. I
See,
don't know what the fuck he's finna say. I don't know what Megawatt's finna say. I don't know what nobody's finna say. They don't know what I'm about to say.
what up,
I
GP
think
man?
Jason wrote some stuff down, but I
Yes, I
ain't
did.
written nothing
I
down.
have
I
no
got
idea what's going on, so that
Okay,
is
so
100% true.
awesome. All right. So,
okay. So
and me, I'm gonna tell you, I watched it. I consumed this when Nova had sent it to me. I consumed it maybe some days later, but I did it just out of for something to watch. You know what I mean? I wasn't prepared to, do a whole deep dive on it until afterwards when Nova was like, "Hey, we got to," and I was like, "Well, shit." For me to do a deep dive on that, it's like I watched it to watch it, but I'm like, this timeline of how it starts is like we're going to literally, it might seem sporadic, we're going to give you a lot of information, might seem sporadic, but episodes 2 and 3 will start connecting dots for you. Okay, so you're just going to have to bear with the amount of information that comes with this. But shout out to IPOT. He did a documentary about this. It's called Pop: Sex, Satan, and Babylon's Boule, or however you want to pronounce that, Boule. This is the episode 1, and it's called Beguiling Beginnings.
Boule.
And Nova just hit you. What'd you say?
Boule.
Boule. Okay, thank you. That's why you're here. I love it. Anyway, so yeah, he gave you the first part with the Ephesians. So when it starts with that, right, and it gives you a couple questions like, what is the price of fame? Like, it goes on to name like at least 30 or 40 dead artists from gun violence. And then it goes all the way back to Act 1. They call it Devil in Detail. All right. And Act 1 starts with a guy named Niccolo Paganini. Has anyone familiar with it?
Not by just that name, no.
I don't
Okay.
think so. Not in
So
here.
so it takes it back to him. He was the quote unquote the devil's violinist. He was born the 27th, 1782, under the rumor though that his mom made a deal with the devil, basically exchanging her son's soul
And
for
we're
his
gonna find out who the devil is too.
right. Exchanging her son's soul for him to be like the best violinist in history. And he actually was. Like
What
he
was
was
the
a
stipulation of? Remember, there was a stipulation in that.
it was his she
about
She
the people
sold him.
around him.
Oh yeah, that they would also
Wasn't
What's
there's
perish,
like a
right?
wrong about
stipulation
this?
about there was like a stipulation about the people that were around him. They had to. I don't know. We'll get into it. I
No,
might be
no, keep
wrong.
yeah, no, no. That's a part of it. Yeah. So I'm talking about him right now. So
Oh,
tell us,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What was it? What was the stipulation? I must have missed that part. I didn't put it in my notes.
Well,
With it, with the curse, supposedly, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I
this
would
was
have to go back.
1782, right? And I guess, well, to me, what I got from it was that his mom made a deal with the devil, and she was exchanging her son's soul for him to be the best violinist in history. And
Yeah,
so this
yeah,
is where the origin of the rumor comes from, selling your soul to the devil, especially in the music industry. Now this is 1782. Dude was a dark character. He was fucking tall. You know, like the human depiction of the devil, like, you know, with the dude who has the high cheekbones, the
Yeah.
mustache, the little goatee, and he has his skin painted red. But I guess this guy kind of looked like him, but he had pale skin instead of red skin,
All
obviously.
bony.
Yeah, bony. Yeah, tall and bony. He looked like that. So this guy Niccolo Paganini, you know, he looked like that depiction of the devil. But he was also, so what's crazy about this dude, right? He retired uh at 54 and died in 1840. But he was a part of the Order of the Golden Spur, and that's like some shit that the Pope has to grant you, and it was the Pope Leo the 12th who granted it to him. But guess what? When he died, the church refused to bury this nigga on consecrated grounds, right? So, so this is the origin of, per se, that whole fucking saying of "I sold my soul to the devil," and we hear it
yep.
even to this day, right? With artists in the music
Hmm.
industry. You know what I
And the
mean?
Yes.
poet.
A spin-off of that though is the Order of the Golden Dawn, which came
Yes.
later. Yes.
Yes, that you're correct. And
Yes.
you know, you're very correct. So then, right? So then the documentary, it tells you about this guy. It tells you about his mom, and it tells you about all his accomplishments that he did. And it tells you that when he died, he didn't have like a will or anything. His last, you know how they ask you what's your last words on your deathbed, and he didn't have nothing to record down, and that scared everybody and just furthered the rumor that he really did sell his soul. And then when the Pope, seeing that he was, you know, a part of like the Pope's choir type shit, but they still wouldn't bury him on, you know, religious grounds, you know, it also furthermore the rumor that he sold his soul to the devil, right? So
Yep.
then the about 10 minutes in, 6 to 10 minutes in, it the documentary has a quote by this dude named Liddell Johnson. It's about 6.5 minutes in, and I'll read it to you real quick. Let's see here, 6.5. Yeah, I got this shit marked down, bro. Y'all thought I was playing. I'm not
Yeah.
playing.
So
So,
there was a
go
right
ahead.
before you say that, since you're looking, there was a
Yeah.
poet that wrote this kind of
Yes.
about the whole selling your soul, and it says, I thought it was pretty cool the way that they worded it. It says, "As you sell your soul and sow your seeds, and you wound
Mm-hmm.
yourself, and your loved ones bleed, and your
Mm-hmm.
habits grow, and your conscience feeds on all that you thought you should be."
Yep.
And so that would be like, I think that would be somebody that actually went through the process of doing this ritual type situation,
Right.
right? And then being on the other side of it and being like, damn, I
Right.
didn't even want all this shit.
Right. So I mean, like, and then so stories like that continue, you know, throughout history. Like we went back to 17 something. So like now that you want to bring it back to like let's say it, Liddell Johnson. There's a quote. So yeah, they bring us to this quote. So they show us that poem. They do. They talk about it. They speak it anyway, but they talk about that poem too. And then they talk. Then they go to this guy named Liddell Johnson's quote, and it says, "Now if he was living, he'd tell you, he'd say, the reason he knows so much, he's because he sold himself to the devil." And I asked him how. He said, if you want to learn how to play anything, you want to learn how to play a new song, you want to learn how to make new songs, you take your guitar and you go to where there's a crossroads. And that way, where the crossroads is, you get there. Be sure to get there a little bit before midnight, that so you know that you're there. And you'll have your guitar, And his English is broken because this is like, you know, supposedly you're not supposed. He probably didn't even know how to read. You know what I'm saying? Type of dude. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? So get there and be sure to get there a little bit before midnight, and you have your guitar and be playing the piece there by yourself. And a big black man will walk up and take your guitar. He'll tune it and then he'll play a piece and then he'll hand it back to you. And that's the way I learned to play anything I want. So that
And
quote,
but look, that quote's real though. This
yes, it
isn't
is.
made up. Because
No,
like if you, I know a lot of people seen the movie "Oh Father, Where Art Thou,"
yes, I was
right?
just about to say
So
that.
the
Yep.
the when they're riding down the street,
Mm-hmm.
the three main characters of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and they see the black
Clooney and
dude
them.
on
Yep.
the on the dirt road.
Yep.
This is the guy, Tommy
Yep.
Johnson. So this is a real
Well, that
um
quote was from Liddell Johnson, his brother,
right,
after
but he's
Tommy
talking
had
about
died.
Tommy.
Right. He was saying now that if Tommy Johnson was living, that's what he's saying. If Tommy Johnson, if his
Hmm.
brother was living, that he'd tell you that this is how we know so much, and this is how we was able to be great at being a guitarist. So
Right.
that
And there was
was.
some kind of little conversation in the like I can't remember exactly what it was, but in the movie, they picked the dude up, Tommy Johnson,
Hmm.
and they ask him, what are you doing out here or whatever, and he tells them like, oh, I made a deal with the devil and blah blah blah.
Hmm.
So the movie, it specifically says it, and then if you go back in history like we're doing right now, you see that that's a real
Yeah.
thing. So
That's a real thing.
kind of
So
cool
Tommy
to
Johnson was the brother of Liddell. He was born 1896 on a plantation in Mississippi, right? In 1928, right? So Tommy, his first record deal was with Victor Record Label, 1928. Remember that name, Victor Record Label. And then in 1929, he cut records for Paramount. He was inspired by an artist named Petey Wheatstraw, and we'll get a little into a little bit more about him. And so this documentary follows a lot of people. Okay, so you're going to hear a lot of names, and then you're going to hear a lot of even more names as time goes on, and even popular names that you know, and you might ask yourself like, what the fuck does this have in connection to what they're fucking talking about? But like I say, just bear with us all week because we're going to go through this all week, and maybe tomorrow, like we'll spend more time connecting the
Well,
dots. But we just need to get this
once
baseline of
people
information.
once people understood the power of music, it was overtaken by evil people or evil entities, if you will, to go ahead and,
GP
capture
man,
people's energy. Yeah.
yes,
So
you're absolutely
and
right.
and the record labels were just the first way to do that. But when they used to hear choir music or people singing, they would seek those people out
Oh yeah.
to enslave them.
Well, there was an interview where they were talking to one of these young black artists, and he used to do gospel. And they said, "Well, it's in the documentary as well." And I got you, GP man, the link to the documentary. If you scroll up, you might not be able to click it, but you should maybe be able to copy it and then paste it. It's up in the chat. But it's called "Pop: Sex, Satan, and the Babylon's Boule," right? Episode 1, "Beguiling Beginnings," and it's by IPOT, and it's on
I'm pretty
Rumble.
sure
Only
it's only
on
Rumble on Rumble.
Rumble. You can only watch it
Yeah.
on Rumble. But yes, you're absolutely right, Megawatt. When it comes to that, and so he was inspired by like so Tommy Johnson, and we're gonna end it like Petey Wheatshaw. He was known as the Devil's stepson. Now another
There's
one
a
that he go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
I
no,
was
no. I
just
was
gonna
just gonna say yeah.
say some people might be familiar with kind of what we're talking about if you've seen the documentary on Netflix about the guy Robert Johnson.
Right.
He's another guy that made a deal with the devil. You know what I
Yes.
mean, to be able to play the guitar great. But
Yes.
for
Well,
for the
that's what I
most
was
part,
going to
that's
get
what's going
into. His
on
name
in
was
this first one.
His original name was Dodds, Robert Dodds, and then he ended up finding out who he was related to because he was kind of like an orphan, so he didn't really know. But he played the harmonica really well, but he sucked at the fucking guitar. But you know what I'm saying? He disappeared for a little bit. What up, Mr. B Great? He disappears for a little bit. This is all in Mississippi around the 30s, 1930s and shit, right? That right in 1929s, and this is the same time that Tommy Johnson was, signing records and cutting record deals, and he was inspired by these people: Petey Wheatshaw, the Devil's stepson, and Robert Dodds or Robert
Yeah.
Johnson. And like I said, he disappeared. Robert Johnson was like one of the first guys who kind of made it super popular, right? To be that dark entity because he disappeared for like a few months or maybe a year or some shit like that. And he comes back and he's the best fucking guitar player in Mississippi. And
Yep.
before that, they was booing this motherfucker off his stages. So out of nowhere, dude becomes the best. He's actually the creator of, or they call him the originator of Crossroad Blues or Hellhound Blues, and
Yep.
he died on August 1930 in August of 1938 as the very first member of, guess what, the 27 Club.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
He's the one that started that.
Do
yes,
you
Um,
know who a female member of that music was? Does anybody know?
no.
Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Yes, she was. Oh yeah, and you know what? It was so crazy that she's not mentioned very much in the documentary, but that is all around
Interesting.
that same time. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. Look, because they also insert people like, so Robert Dodds was the first of the 27 Club, and the New York Times used to write articles about blues music, and it was like popularized as devil's music, and they described it as dark. And I mean, it was also because, like, think about it, right? There's a lot of the people who were fucking like in trouble and like in jail and doing shit. A lot of the artists, a lot of the blues writers and a lot of the blues singers and and,
well,
and, and musicians.
also, if you think about the way that the rap industry is looked at, they
Yeah,
got their feel and their look
from
and
that.
their sound from
Yeah.
these
Well,
blues
Lead
players.
One of
Belly.
there was a whole album that was made at Folsom Prison. That is not good
Yeah.
energy to
Oh,
infuse into
listen,
a
the nigga's
musical
name is
album.
Lead Belly. Look up
Yeah.
Lead Belly, okay? Lead
Yeah.
Belly was fucking in jail for attempted fucking murder or some shit. Got out because he wrote the president of the United States. He got pardoned for writing the president of the United States a song. He got out of jail, was doing okay, you know what I mean, for himself with the music and shit like that. Went somewhere else and got in trouble again, got out of trouble again just because he's a fucking musician. And I mean, well, obviously, you find out as more in the documentary as it goes on who's funding these record labels and shit like that, why this nigga was able to get out of jail. But then he finally goes back to jail after a stab and moving to New York. So he lived in the South, moved to Chicago, moved to New York, stabbed a man, went back to jail, and then, like, this is a dude named Lead Belly who was making millions of dollars selling music.
Yep.
So and
And
then and
then,
he and around that time, Wheat Shaw, right? We talked about him. They say that because of him, around that time, Dolomite was out. So combined with the music, Dolomite, Wheat Straw, Wheat Straw was like the first rap persona ever to ever be out. You know what I mean? Like, this was
yeah,
before rap
his
music.
his his name was
Yeah,
William Bunch.
Lead Belly, Lead, like lead, like in a gun, Lead Belly.
Yeah. And his actual name though was like I think it was William Bunch, and they called his music stomp.
Yes,
They called him
yes,
Stomps, and so
yes,
that was the original rapper. He
yes.
didn't come from New York.
No,
Sorry,
no. Well, at
he
least
came
the
from
persona,
Memphis, Tennessee.
of that the rappers took on. You know what I mean? And they had this shit called Old Scratch that he would do. You know what I mean? He called
Yep.
it Old Scratch. You know what I mean? And like in the, they show you the movie scene with with that Tommy Tommy and
Yeah,
them.
because there was actually a book, right? There was a book
Also,
written
there's a dude named
about.
Muddy Waters.
Why do
Right.
you think Elvis was even brought into this? I mean,
Oh fuck yeah.
it's all from that.
He's actually
Yeah.
not brought into this.
But it
Like
is.
they,
He
But,
is.
but
well, I mean,
He may not
not
be
into
in the
this.
documentary, but he is in it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
well,
saying. We're just
yeah,
giving a
for
review
sure.
on the documentary. So yeah,
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
right, right. So
100%. His that's where
they
his
tell
the
you about all of that. You know what I mean? He breaks down. They break down basically. So we started. You understand where we started with the origin of selling your soul to the devil and to become famous, or to become a famous musician. Now we all know that the devil was supposedly Lucifer. Lucifer was supposedly the head of God's choir. So he was the king. He was the god of all music. So that's also similarity to that. Okay, so that's the origin before the origin. So now we're here where you have artists, blues artists like Lead Belly, Wheat Straw. You have actors doing the Dolomite thing. You got the black movement coming up where it's unprecedented, you know what I mean, for black people to be this well known in music. They're also starting to own record labels. Like
And
people
it
didn't know,
kind of
like
busts it kind of knocks
yeah.
down the whole narrative too of
Yes,
how
yes, my
oppressed
nigga.
black people were in the
Mm,
South, because why were they allowed to go to the same look, think about it,
You
okay?
all right?
If
You
there
all
had
right
a
there,
bathroom
Jason?
that said,
no, yeah, because it's so
if
real,
if
because it just gives you some information that
if
you
they
might
had a
not,
black
that doesn't fit the
if
narrative
the
that they give you.
bathroom said whites only and then blacks only, right? But these recording studios didn't. So it just shows everybody, once again, it's all about money and power. Really, it's not really about the color of
Right,
somebody or where they came from.
right, right.
Because
So
these black guys were able to go into studios and record on the same microphones in the
yes,
same rooms as every other race of person. So
yes,
it kind of just,
yes.
when you start looking into your own and find out the history, how it really
Yeah,
is
Wheat Straw
compared
was
to
doing
what
this
you're.
motherfucking thing. They even had a movie made after him called, the Wheat Straw, something Wheat Straw, the Devil's Son, whatever his first name is. What his name?
Yeah. Well,
Yes,
there was a guy named Ralph. Again, it blends right into what you were just saying. There was a guy named Ralph
Petey Wheat
Ellison.
Straw, the Devil's Son-in-Law. That's what the movie was called.
Yeah. And then there was also a guy named Ralph Ellison, and he wrote a
Right.
book called Invisible Man, and it was basically about Petey Wheatstraw.
Yes.
And then he wrote the book Juneteenth.
Yes.
And this guy went from
Keep
he came down to the South basically to
keep
see
track
these
of
people,
those.
and then went back up to New York City.
Yes.
And he is one of the people that kind of introduced this type of music to
Right.
city folk, as we would
Right.
say. You know what I'm saying?
So
Because we're
then
coming
so
from the
then you
country to
you
the
you
city.
can fast forward, right? So then you fast forward to, the act two of
And to put,
the
and just to add,
yeah.
it doesn't matter, but just to add, Ralph Ellison was a communist. So
Yeah.
that goes in with
Well,
all that we're
it
talking
does.
about.
It definitely does. All right. And people's
And
affiliations
he
are
was
going to be
black
deep.
also. Just to say, he was
Yes,
black. He was
he
allowed to
was.
write books, and he was
Yes.
allowed to travel from north to south and wear
Yes.
suits and ties and walk down the
Yeah.
street. Okay.
Yeah, so then they fast forward it for you, right? And they give you another whole like 30 more names of rappers and musicians who've been murdered by gun violence, right? So this is the documentary. We're gonna timeline it. So then it fast forwards to the 1930s,
Hey,
1931 January
did
to be
you
exact. What up?
did you want to say something about the Wrestling with the Left book, and then the Barack Obama Dreams from My Father?
Oh,
Because the guy Ellison was tied in with that, I believe, right? It was like the number one best New York Times seller,
yeah,
the Barack
yes,
Obama Dreams from My
yes,
Father. It's
yes,
weird how Ralph Ellison was a communist. You got the
yes.
guy or Bill Ayers that was basically
Oh my
Barack
gosh, bro.
Obama's
Bro,
influence.
hold on. Rewind. We're gonna rewind. Woo!
Well, I'm
Listen.
at 17 minutes into or 16 minutes, and it talks about wrestling with the left. So I was just making sure you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Because that I do have the Ayers and I do have all of that in there as well.
Right.
And I
Because
have
what I'm talking about is about 1 minute before the Petey Wheatstraw, the Devil's
okay.
Son-in-Law movie,
All right. Yeah, the Invisible Man. Yep. Yep. Ralph Ellison, Juneteenth. Yep.
and
Ralph
then right after
Ellison.
that.
Yes. I'm with you.
All right. So the Ralph
Barack
Ellison
Obama,
guy,
Dreams for My Father. Yes.
right? And so that was a number one seller. And then
And he's a part of Black Lives Matter.
right, he's one of the fucking. This is so
Yes.
crazy to say that, like, this guy, even though it's so long
That's
ago.
why they got Barack Obama in there. That's the whole point of
Oh
that.
yeah. See, but then there's other people that like you're gonna hear Barack's name a couple times because there's people who went to the same schools and shit like that and was like the edit.
Presidents are not
Oh
elected;
my!
they are
Happy
selected.
President's Day! Happy Black
Hello.
History Month! Let's
Exactly.
fucking go. No, go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, so the guy Ellison said the geography of hell is still in the process of being mapped.
Mm-hmm.
Invisible Man, the book we were just talking about, that
Mm-hmm.
was about Petey Wheatstraw,
Yep.
aka the devil's son-in-law,
Yep.
the first rapper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, belongs on the shelf with the classical efforts man made to chart.
Yes.
So basically, what he's saying is he believes that the Invisible Man should be, up with the most classic of
Right.
classics of novels.
Well, because Petey Wheatstraw's okay, so Petey Wheatstraw's Devil's Son-in-Law, what that was about was that he sold his soul to the devil for what, but what he had to pay back was his soul, but he had to marry also the devil's daughter. He had to marry the devil's daughter. That was his pact with the devil. He said, "I'll make you good at whatever you want to be good at, but then I'll
Exactly.
handle everything. I'll take care of everything. All you got to do is basically marry my fucking daughter." You know what I'm
It's
saying?
hey,
So that's
so
why he was called that.
so you talked about Dolomite, and then
Yes.
in the documentary they say that there's a rapper that we all know of that kind of took the persona of Petey Wheatstraw, Dolomite, and the whole vibe of what Ellison was talking about was Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
He did the song
Yeah.
where he's talking to the devil, basically doing a deal with the
Yeah.
devil.
Yeah,
Murder was the
and
case
he
that they
was a
gave him.
pimp. If you watch the movie,
Yeah,
the
exactly. I was
Petey
about to say that
Wheatshaw,
too.
yeah, if you watch the movie Petey Wheatshaw, the devil's
Had a
son-in-law, he
like
had a
a
magical pimp
magic
cane
cane.
to be able to fight off the fucking,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? What what he was doing? He was the main character, you know what I mean? And the devil gave him a fucking goddamn magical fucking pimp cane. And then you had Snoop Dogg. He was a pimp. He was a player, also a
Hmm.
motherfucking gangster. You know what I'm saying? So they definitely. Oh my god. So like all of that is connected. You know what I mean? What I wanted
Yep.
to bring into because they tell you they kind of tell you how, but like they don't go too much in depth on it right in the beginning, about that guy who wrote those books or about that they kind of go into it a little bit more later, to basically show the connection between them. Where it leaves us now is like I said, they go through those names of those artists again, and then like a bunch of them, man, I don't even want to name them, and then they get a bunch of old '90s hip hop artists, and they show quotes from them, and then they jump you back to the 1930s. January the 22nd, to be exact, Mississippi Sam Cooke was born. He was a fucking prominent fucking artist, bro. He was part of the Singing Children, the Soulsters. He went solo, and had 29 singles on Billboard Top 40, and 20 of those 40 were top 10. He was the first black owner of a record label and a publishing company. And in 1960, right? He signed with Victor record label. Now, at that time, was RCA Victor. So keep that in
And
mind.
now comes
Yeah, I
devil
like Sam Cooke
vibes.
too. Yes. And now comes, okay, he got 100K, which was a lot back then, right? And it was in 1961 where he started to own his own label. And he hired to help him out. Sam Cooke was doing his thing. Sam Cooke, bro, to tell me that a nigga owned a record label in the 60s, right? Man, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know
And
Sam Cooke owned his own shit.
yeah,
I mean,
well, I didn't know
obviously, I knew
Sam
that
Cooke.
was a problem,
I didn't
problem
know
in
Sam
general.
Cooke was killed by a black woman either. So
Bro,
this shit
listen.
crazy,
So,
boy.
so, so to continue down the timeline, right? So, like,
But
you're
yeah,
gonna
let's
hear
not
these
jump to
names.
there yet.
Yeah, yeah, you're good. You're gonna hear these names, and it's gonna be like I said, it's gonna seem confusing. What up, Joseph? What up, everybody? It's gonna seem confusing because you're like, all right, so what do they have in common? But you'll realize. Um, so he signed in 1963. He signed a manager named Alan Klein, who was also, so this is
Mm.
Sam Cooke, right? Sam Cooke was doing his thing.
Mm.
He was doing his thing to the point where he needed help. So he was like, let me hire somebody to help manage this shit. So he hired a nigga named Alan Klein. And that
Mm.
motherfucker used to
Worst
be the
mistake
manager.
ever.
Worst mistake ever. Used to be the manager of the Beatles, Rolling Stones.
The Who.
And
We could keep
yeah.
going. Just think of all the biggest back in
So
that era, and he was
yeah,
involved.
yeah.
Period.
And his death is still Sam Cooke's death is still a kind of a mystery. He was married twice. His first wife was Dee Dee Hawk, and then 1 year later, after he divorced Dee Dee Hawk, she dies in a car accident. His second marriage
Yep.
was
Well, let me touch
Barbara.
on that Sam Cooke thing real quick. So
Yeah,
I said
I'm
about the
still
black
on Sam
woman,
Cooke.
right?
Yeah, but
So
wait,
about
I
him
got
being
more.
murdered by a black woman.
Wait,
Hold
I
on, I
got
just want to
more.
just touch. All right, go ahead,
Okay.
and then I'll come
No,
back.
I'm saying I got more that leads right up to that, right? So So his second wife was Barbara Campbell. Barbara had an affair with Bobby Womack, who was an artist that fucking Sam Cooke put on his fucking label, the
Yeah.
Womacks. So Womack
talk
was signed
about
to Cook's
talk
label.
about being fucked up, boy.
Oh my God! Listen, this sounds like some Kanye shit, my nigga. Y'all not getting me.
Mhm.
Y'all not. Y'all. I'm saying. This is why I wanted to kind of touch on this. And they kind of spent like 20 minutes on Sam Cooke because he's very pivotal character in all of this.
Oh yeah.
And so Sam Cooke's death. Excuse me. He was signed to. So Womack was signed to Cook's label, and
Remember the communist aspect
yes, and
of
she.
of the situation going on too, because Sam
Oh
Cooke's
yeah.
gonna fall off into that in a minute.
Well, because of who Sam Cooke was doing business with, and who Sam
I
Cooke
was just
was
talking to the
fucking.
listeners. I'm just
Oh yeah,
trying
for
to
sure. And
keep
I'm yeah.
everybody's brain on what we're talking about.
So his second marriage, she had an affair with Bobby Womack, an artist that was signed to his label. And she married that motherfucker 3 months after his death. Womack abused Barbara's eldest daughter, who ended up marrying Bobby Womack's brother,
Hey,
Bobby
can
Womack's
I
brother.
just let me say something that doesn't even go with anything we're about to say, but she got married to Buddy 3 months after that. Does everybody
After
know?
Womack's death.
Does everybody know
I mean, after Cook's
who
death.
Jackie Kennedy married not long after John F. Kennedy was killed? Oh man, bro,
Yeah,
like
the
that.
shit
I just had
that
to say that because that'll
no,
come
it's
in when we
very
start talking about
similar.
the communists.
Yes. So what happened was this. So Sam Cooke had Klein help him set up a holding company called Tracy Limited, right? Klein manipulated all of the documents, making him the owner of Sam Cooke's music. Now, Sam found out he was planning to fire Klein and divorce Barbara. Because the final straw was this: take this shit out, right? So not only does his first wife
Yep.
die in a fucking car accident, but his second wife, Barbara, was having affairs with fucking men all over the place. So much so that her 2-year-old son drowned in the pool while Barbara was on the phone with another nigga.
Yeah, I mean, come on now.
Wait till
A
y'all
lot
So,
get to
happened to Sam
Marilyn
now.
Monroe then.
A lot happened to Sam Cooke. I
a
mean, come
lot
on
happened
now.
to Sam Cooke, bro.
2-year-old son drowned. And think about it, y'all. He was only with Klein for 3 fucking months.
I was just about to say that. Like, this isn't a
This
matter.
man was only signed to this dude's as a management for
Mhm.
3 months, and all this shit happened in 3 months. Come
All this
on.
shit happened in 3 months, bro. So wait, so check it. So let's get to where you wanted to where you were at. You know what I mean? And I hear you, Megawatt, on the fucking Marilyn Monroe shit. That's that we gonna that's in there, but we gonna save it. You can watch that docu. You'll see it how it fucking
I
lines
still
up. It's
don't
pretty
know what
dope.
it's called, so
It's called Pop, P-O-P,
Okay.
Sex and Satan in Babylon's Boule, episode 1.
But I'm keeping up, so y'all.
Okay, got
Well,
you. Yep, it's
Yeah.
on Rumble. It's on Rumble, so you got to get on Rumble. You can get on the
Oh,
web, or you
Rumble.
can get
Okay.
on. Yes,
I put it in the comments.
Sue, Mama Sue. Yeah,
Thank
that's who
you.
put us on. All right,
Who said
so
that?
that Mama Sue, Susan.
Thank you,
Susan B.
Susan.
Hey, no problem.
So
See ya.
December 11th, 1964, Cook was found dead. He's 43. He was at the Hacienda Hotel where he supposedly, he met a woman at an Italian restaurant previously to
Hold
go
on.
into
How
the
old was
hotel.
he?
He was 43.
Okay.
43. 7.
Right.
But anyways, so yeah, and so he met a woman at an Italian restaurant that was allegedly, and I'm gonna say these words because I done my little bit of research on it, but I don't want to fucking get our show in trouble. You know what I mean? And I don't, not saying that IPOT isn't accurate because with all the back research that I did, he was pretty accurate
Hey,
with a lot of this shit.
not to disagree with you, bro, but the reason why I asked that double take because Sam Cooke was 33. Just
Oh,
to
I'm
make
sorry.
it
That
even
might have been
more,
a th-
just to tie it in even
that's a
more
typo on my end.
from
Then
no, just because what we're gonna get into later is a lot of
yeah,
numbers that deal with certain situations. So
no, you're
now,
right.
just
You're
remember
right.
what
He was
33 means,
33.
and
That was a typo on
he
my end,
was
guys, in my
and he
notes.
was
Sorry.
33 when he died. Also,
Yeah. So it was the Hacienda at the Hacienda Hotel. It's supposed to be like the cheapest hotel in town. It had like $3
pay by
fucking
the
rooms.
minute type shit.
Right, paying back. Yeah. But they said that he went to an Italian restaurant and he met a chick, and he allegedly was taking her back to that hotel to rape her. But that woman left the hotel with all of Sam Cooke's fucking clothes, and he went
Mm-hmm.
knocking on the fucking door to the fucking manager's
And
office.
he
He's just
met
got his
this
drawers
woman.
on
He
at
met
an
this
Italian
woman
restaurant.
before he went there. He didn't,
Yeah,
he didn't know this lady, so
he was
she
meeting a
might have
bop.
been
He was trying to
somebody.
fuck. Yeah,
Right, and she might have been a
he
plant.
heartbroken. The nigga Sam that motherfucker, he heartbroken, he fucked up, he about to he's like, I'm about to fire my manager, I got my bitch then
Mm-hmm.
drowned in let my son drown, she fucking the nigga I signed to the label, he's
Right.
going through it, the nigga hit the fucking Italian restaurant, find a little bitch that's trying to fuck, he like, bet, I'm gonna take her to the telly,
And
swing to the
not to
telly.
mention all of the stuff that all the heat he was getting because of who he associated with, Malcolm X,
Yeah,
Muhammad
see,
Ali.
that's another thing though. See, that's a kicker right there. So what I wanted to put in there before we get to that though, right, is that he was allegedly so he was shot by that manager when he went to the door. He said he was supposedly in his drawers. That's what the manager said. He was in his drawers. He was screaming, "Where is she at? Where is she at?" He probably was roofied or some shit. You know what I mean? The manager said he was aggressive towards her. She shot him. He then said to her like, "Damn, bitch, you just shot me." And then
He said, "You shot me."
yeah, he told her like, you shot me, like, and then she hit him with a broomstick and he died. That's what
Supposedly,
supposedly.
allegedly. But there's a
Yes.
lot of other things from his family saying, look, he was beat from
Well,
head to toe.
his body at the funeral looked like a mob hit, according to Etta James. Y'all
Exactly.
know who that is, longtime friend of Cook, and she explains that it looked as if his head was beaten off of his shoulders, like his head looked
Right.
like it was separated from his fucking body. And it's a book that
And
she wrote called Rage to Survive, and she wrote about how she felt that he was set up by the mob or government
the
officials.
manager, Adam Klein,
Yes,
obviously will hit
he had
into it
mob
more.
ties.
He
He
had
had
mob
shady
ties.
dealings. Yo, yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's right. That it flows right into that. Nova, go ahead.
Yeah.
You're good. You can talk
But
about
no,
him.
it's
It
just
flows right in
you
there.
know, he actually had like mob ties. Like he
Yes, he
was
did.
friends with enforcers for certain
Yes,
mafioso
and like we
families.
said, he was Cook wasn't the only victim. You could say the Beatles,
Oh
Rolling
no. I mean,
Stones.
hey, you could straight up know that Lennon's death had something to do with it.
And to give you guys an idea of how he did it is that he was so good at contracts that he would be this is what he did, he would fucking buy and sell agreements to own the musician's music, but to he would also be able to mass produce the records themselves and then sell the records to the record labels, which meant more money, which meant more money up front for the artist, but that meant Klein would own everything, so he would get money in the back end, but he would get people paid so ridiculously big on the front end that they weren't looking, nobody was looking at
Kind of
the
like a
fucking.
guy named Scooter Braun.
Yes, he was a contract genius, Susan said. You know what I mean? And he was it was fucking crazy. Uh, Sam was into the desire of to control his intellectual property. And like Nova was saying, he also became friends with Ali, Malcolm X, and that whole activist movement. So Paul McCartney also left the Beatles in 1970 because of the contract signing with Klein. Also, reasons why he sued the Beatles had something to do with Klein. And then 3 months after Klein was signed to Cook is when Cook died. So, like Nova said, this all happened in 3 fucking months. So then they fast forward you. So we get about 30 half an hour or so into this fucking shit. Like I said, this shit is like so fucking goddamn deep. You got Otis Redding. Y'all know about Otis Redding, right? Otis,
Yep.
similar fate,
Yep.
right?
Sitting on the dock of the bay.
Sitting on the dock of the bay.
That
Yep,
was the
plane
last
crash.
song he recorded.
Absolutely, it was. Became his biggest fucking hit.
And check
Died
it
in a
out,
plane
y'all.
crash. Go ahead.
Who'd he buy the plane from?
Ow, watch me.
James Brown.
I got.
Oh.
Who was in this whole thing? Adam Klein was. James
Yep.
Brown told Otis Redding, "Look,
Don't
fly
fly
the
that
plane,
plane.
bro." He said, "No." He said, "Fly it, but motherfucker, don't you dare fly it over water, and don't fly it
Right.
too high." You know what I
Right.
mean? Because it's been known to act up.
Right.
And so, what happened to Otis Redding? just like
Yep.
Aaliyah, just like so many people
But
we
guess
know
what?
of,
Guess
bro.
what Redding was planning to do?
Become part of the.
Take his.
He spent months with the Muslim Brotherhood
Mm-hmm.
also.
But guess what though? Guess
He
what though?
was getting ready to do what with his what?
Planning to take control of all of his music,
And
and he
that pissed
found
off
the.
Adam Klein.
Or he got with two white boys. He got with two white boys. And they created Red Wall Music. And then he died 3 days after recording like that. What would be his biggest song? And he was
And
26.
Otis Redding was also a Mason.
And yep, and before he can get done with owning his own shit, Atlantic and so Atlantic Records happened to held all of his unreleased music, about 3 albums worth of unreleased music. And like I said, he was rumored to be close to the fucking Muslim community. So that's another thing that he had in common with Sam Cooke. And it's fucking it's that's a deep. So they kind of go into, like another little, talking break, you know what I mean? And then they end up, talking to you about sorry, I'm getting past Womack and them. They talk to you about the Beatles and shit, and they got a couple interviews, online with how the Beatles felt about the contracts and shit like that. Um and then they get into Ali, and they're like, why are you showing on Ali? And then they show them their relationship with Cook and Otis Redding, and how Otis Redding was trying to be a Muslim. So we get past this, and you get to a guy, and you're like, why is this nigga up on the screen? You're like, because it literally jumps from Malcolm X, you know, showing a photo of him days before his assassination and talking about his relationship with Sam Cooke, to immediately this dude. And you're like, who the fuck is this dude, right? So his
Hunt.
name, yes.
Oh
So
yeah.
there's a
Here we
dude that they
go.
pop up.
Here
Oh
we
yes.
go.
Yes, sir. So like it, oh goddamn. So this motherfucker's name, about 35 minutes in, guys. His name is H.L. Hunt. So like I'm like, okay, I'm watching a documentary. I'm like, okay, that's
Oil
cool.
man.
Man, it seems like it bounces around, but I'm trying to tell you guys, just pay attention to
Guess
these
how
names and these
and guess how
dates.
he got the oil rights? The motherfucker won all the oil rights in a gambling in a
Okay,
card game.
so let's think about. So they were talking about the Muslim Malcolm X, his connection with Redding, his connection with Sam Cooke, these artists. Okay, so they also talk about some shit where, because Malcolm X talks a little bit of shit, you mean, and he's like, they show an interview of him, and he's trying to tell people like, oh, uh,
Elijah
he's telling
Muhammad,
people that these people
the
aren't real
Nation of
leaders. He's
Islam,
saying
is actually
yes.
funded by the same people that you're
Wait, but
fighting
he was
against.
he was taking shots at MLK. He was taking shots at a bunch of different people, right? And there was reasons why. So Hunt was rumored to be funding Elijah Muhammad's movements, which led
Which is
to,
the Nation of Islam.
yeah, which led to Malcolm leaving the Brotherhood. He was dude was a wealthy dude who lived in Dallas, Texas, and Malcolm claims he had, basically Elijah Muhammad in his pocket. He was an oil tycoon, as Nova just said, and he was one of the richest men in America at that time. That nigga had 15 kids, and all 15 kids went on to do some crazy fucking shit. For example, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
name all 15 fucking kids, but just give you an example. One of his sons
I
is the
want to
owner of
say
the
one.
Chiefs.
Ah, you
Okay,
said it, damn it.
I
You
said
said it
it.
first.
Goddamn. Yeah, he's the main motherfucker. Because he's the one that all the other ones did some shit and had ended up in court at one point in time in their lives, but they weren't
I just
like
wanted to
this one.
say it because it's so relevant. Because the Chiefs
Yeah.
just won, and all the little
Yes. Yeah.
theories about that shit,
He
bro.
was the owner of the Chiefs. He created the Texans. That football team. He was also the creator of the Chicago Bulls, and it was his son
Woo! Who now? Who?
H.L.
The
Hunt.
Bulls. Oh God!
Exactly right. Wait.
Come on.
So stop it, Nova. H.L. Hunt.
Wait till
Rumor.
you see H.L. Hunt's astrology chart. You're
Oh my
really gonna like that.
god, damn! You got
Wait till you see that.
holy shit. We can get into that because right now, like they spent like 15 minutes talking about this nigga because he's a predominant character. Him and his fucking kids. So this one kid, Hunt was worth up to about 3 billion. All right, so like I'm gonna tell you what else that he owned too. So wait, so one of his kids, they own the Texans, and that same kid, that son that Nova's talking about, I'm not even gonna say his name. I'm just gonna give you guys an overview. He also coined the phrase Super Bowl. So he coined that phrase. He created the Bulls, the Texans, and was the owner of the motherfucking Chiefs. and that's just one of this motherfucker's kids. So he had one kid who sat on the board of Australia, a committee, the board, some kind of board to make decisions in Australia. He had another kid who was also a tycoon. He had another kid who was doing some shit in England. He had another, like all of his kids was set up to do some crazy shit. But anyways, Huntsworth was got up to about 3 billion.
He had a daughter that was going ham too.
Yeah, and all of them ended up in court and being sued either by tax evasion or some other crazy conspiracy theorist type shit, conspiracy to do some fucked up shit. So Hunt's worth was like got up to about 3 billion. He owned like 500 radio stations. So remember that. He owned 55 TV stations. He funded foundations like the Minutemen and the John Burke Society and the Nation of Islam. He supported these organizations because he also believed in sending all black people back to Africa, just like Elijah Muhammad wanted. And so he also owned a bunch of the mosques too. And so then they talk about around 38 40 minutes in, they talk about Hunt's possible involvement in Kennedy's assassination. And before I get to there, if you wanted to add some more about this motherfucker Hunt, you can add in anything that I might have fucking forgot.
Well, I just think it's interesting how he became so rich, though. Is he
Oh yeah,
he was a gambler,
yeah.
and he was playing poker, and he took somebody all the way down to their socks, basically,
Hmm.
and got the oil rights
Yeah,
in a poker game. And so
yeah,
it's like, what was he before that life? You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I
You're
just
right.
couldn't no time to really get to be able to talk about it today. But I think this week, I
Oh,
think
we.
what we should do is hit the main people that funded all of these things we're talking about and
Hmm.
go that way with it too. Because Hunt, that dude right there, man, that is crazy.
Yes. So like
His
Hunt's so
belief.
deep in it, and he has a possible involvement. Like that's how deep Hunt is. He's a possible involvement in Kennedy's assassination. And the reason why they say that was because it was a chick named Madeline Brown, right? And she was fucking a President Lyndon B. Johnson or somebody. She was fucking somebody high up, and she was at a party that they were all at. And she asked him, she said, Lyndon, they have it quotes. Yep, LBJ. Oh, yep, Susan said yep. So she was fucking LBJ. She says, Lyndon, you've got to tell me, you've got to talk to me. Were you involved in Kennedy's death? And Lyndon B says, finally, he said, the people that I know, the oil people and the CIA, he was like, they did it. So this is what they told this woman, she fucking goddamn made a whole motherfucking thing about it. And then this is supposedly a quote from straight out of Hunt's mouth. After tomorrow, those goddamn
After
Kennedys,
tomorrow.
them goddamn Kennedys will never embarrass me again. That's no threat. That's a
Woo!
promise. And that's
And
out
coming
of
from
Hunt's
somebody
mouth.
that's hey, and that dude's got the money and the power, bro.
Oh well, guess what? Guess where fucking Hunt is headquarters is Dallas, Texas. Guess where Kennedy was
Hmm.
shot?
Dallas,
Dallas, Texas.
Texas.
Okie dokie.
Guess who? So Hunt had ties too.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a guy named Jim Brady, aka Eugene Hale Brading. This
Yep.
guy was tied to the mob as well.
Yeah. Well, he
Um,
was connected to them through his son, the
right,
one who owned the Chiefs.
and then they're connected with the guy that actually supposedly that shot Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
He was in jail with him for a little bit, and it's
Yes.
just all just there's
Yes, he
a
was
lot
in
of
jail with
dots
him.
here.
He
You know
was.
what I mean?
The
In the
hold on. There's
same
a
place too, Dallas. You know what I mean? Where all this
yes.
shit happened. Just so happened that the motherfucker that had enough money to pay for all of this shit to happen and for nobody to find out about it. Crisis actors were back
Mm-hmm.
then too, y'all. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, so
So
with
there was
enough money, you can move
a
mountains.
lot written about it. You know what I mean? When it came to that, you can look up his son. You can look up John Currington, Marina Oswald. There was
And the day before it all happened, the guy associated with the mob and Lee Harvey Oswald stayed in
mm-hmm.
the same fucking hotel room. It
Yes,
was called the Motive
the New York Times was wiretapping the two sons of H.L. Hunt, and they postponed it when the Supreme Court didn't act on the fucking case and shit. So these motherfuckers had enough power, like they
Hmm.
were delaying Supreme Court cases about the shit. Okay,
Yeah, there
so
was actually a book too called H.L. Hunt Motive Opportunity,
yes, I was
and
just
it
about to
talks
say
about.
that.
Oh, my bad, man. Go
No, you're
ahead.
good. Say it.
It
Go
talks
ahead,
about.
though.
It's got JFK. It's got Martin Luther King Jr. It's got Robert
Mm-hmm.
F. Kennedy and Jimmy Hoffa, all on the cover of people that possibly he had something to do with, and that's just
Mm-hmm.
those. There's other people too.
Oh yeah, so that it keeps moving on too. So it tells you that Malcolm X movements before so Malcolm X before he died, his movements before he died, 1 year after leaving Islam, and only days after the public mentioning of J.L. Hunt's funding of the Nation of Islam, he was killed. Literally 3 days after he publicly spoke,
Yep.
saying that JL that the Islam is being funded by a white dude who's associated with Jewish bullion boule clubs and organizations and shit. So
Yep.
so
So basically,
JL
3 days after he said something
mhm.
publicly about it, he was out of there. I
So and guess
mean,
what?
if
Guess what
you
happened
think,
to you remember what y'all remember what happened to Malcolm X killers?
well, they
They
went to prison and they
they
got
said
out and they became fucking mosque leaders and shit.
ain't
Ain't
that
that
wild,
something?
nigga? Ain't that
And
something
they ain't
right?
even do all the time they were supposed to do either.
Right. Right.
And Louis Farrakhan is in this thing saying this. Why the fuck? And you know what? I'm just gonna say it how he said it. He said, "Why the fuck is it anybody's business if we wanted to
Mhm.
basically discipline or take out Malcolm X?" He said to the white man, he said this,
Yeah.
"Did y'all?" And when he's saying that, he's really talking about FBI and shit like that, right? But white people in general, because we
Mhm.
know who Louis Farrakhan is. But anyway, he
Right.
was like, um, "What is it your
I,
business?" Basically,
Now,
this is our
I don't mean to
community.
stop you, no, but
Go
I'm
ahead.
just trying to keep everybody because
Oh
I
yeah,
want
go
everybody to
ahead.
understand because at this time, right, it seems crazy. We didn't jump from a nigga from the 1738s all the
But it
way to goddamn
all
here.
is right here.
We're not gonna connect the dots yet. Remember these names. Remember what we're talking about. It's recorded. You can go back and listen to it. Okay, it's all for a reason. I promise you. You're gonna be like, it's gonna start blowing your fucking mind after blowing your mind after blowing your. It's over and over and over again of mind explosions here. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what the fuck we're gonna do. We got
Yeah,
about an
because
hour left of the
throughout
show.
all of this, there's one thing that doesn't change.
Oh yes. So Malcolm X, right? His three daughters in 2021 found new evidence from an officer named Ray Wood, who was an undercover officer working the case at that time. But on his deathbed, he confessed that the NYPD and the FBI conspired to kill Malcolm X. Now, guess which lawyer was taking on this case?
Well, I mean,
Hey, guess what? No, George Floyd's
I
lawyer.
already, I was about to say I already know what I already know what it falls under.
Yes, it
I
was
don't
George
really want to.
Floyd's. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It's Ben Crump.
But yeah, so they found that out. Now, they bring to you, so after they find that out, right? And they show and they put that in there. So his Malcolm X three daughters in 2021, so this was, not too long ago at all, about 3 years ago, wanted to open the
I hope
case again.
everybody knows who Ben Crump is too. He
Yeah.
takes on every Trayvon, every Mac
Mm-hmm.
Brown, every
Mm-hmm.
case that
Mm-hmm.
seems not just not just black being shot by white, but anything that he could sue the fucking police for or the
Oh
city.
yes. So
This and
so wait though.
and he
So
takes
then
on
it
the
gets deep.
biggest of the big.
It gets deep. So this nigga, they take out Malcolm X. All right. And what happens next? Who replaces Malcolm X? Right? Who replaces Malcolm X in his position and what he was doing? Who was in there behind there? And you come to this nigga named John Ali. So they come to around like 40, 43 minutes into this shit. They come to John Ali, and Ali, somewhere between they don't know for sure, but somewhere between 1954 and 57, he joined the Nation of Islam. He was the one to publicly uh tell everybody about X's suspension. They used to have fucking actually news broadcasts about that. He was the one who said that. He also became the new national secretary of the nation. And then by 1958, he was next in power to Elijah Muhammad. And he oversaw all of the finances from what was that nigga's name? Fuck. Hunt.
Hunt.
So all of the finances, he was handling all of those finances now. The same finances that Malcolm X told motherfuckers about and got murdered for it. So now he's the next in line, basically, right? So, but like, where did this
Right.
motherfucker come from, right? So, according to there's a book called "To Kill a Black Man" by Louis Lomax. An FBI memo from 1964 proved that John Ali was an informant and received. And this listen this memo was actually you can find it in unclassified documents of the FBI. You can literally find this. Was received by the former head of the FBI of operations back then. So not only did they find out that the dude was an informant, it was that they could prove and they could track it. But guess who this motherfucker Louis Lomax was? Louis was the first black TV journalist ever. Um,
And he
and the,
did the interview
yes, he
with
interviewed.
Malcolm X, right?
Yes, he interviewed Malcolm X, and he was told by the FBI to not publish any info regarding John Ali as an informant. But guess what? He said, fuck y'all. And he released it
Mm-hmm.
anyways. He published the information anyways. And in July 1970, he died in a car crash. And later on, this dude, John Ali, admits to being interviewed by the FBI and even says he had an interview with the director, but says he never got in. But guess who the fuck this nigga John Ali is related to? DJ motherfucking Drama. That is his motherfucking uncle. So, oh my God, bro.
Yep. I know, right?
Whoa, full circle back to music, right? So I know people were like, when the fuck we went from musicians to this, to Malcolm X, to Elijah Muhammad, to the motherfucker replacing goddamn Malcolm X. And the motherfucker who replaced Malcolm X was a proven informant by the FBI and also the uncle to DJ fucking Drama. So I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
we don't know, if the Nation of Islam was involved or not in killing Malcolm X, but we do
Well,
know
you know
that
what?
they
To
have a
go up
relationship though with the government and the entities inside of the government for years, and that's one thing that they both had in common. And then what's the one thing that the government have in common and they have in common?
exactly like so, just
Oh yeah,
just
she's in
know
there.
that
Don't worry, she's coming up. Megawatt Margaret Singer. She's in here too.
one of the last things recorded that Malcolm X said was I see who has given their support to Martin Luther King
Oh
Jr.
my
He
gosh,
said,
because
and
that's what.
basically that is my opposition. And so he said, I'm
No, man,
glad
you the shit,
that
bro.
those people didn't endorse me. He said, because it's
Yes,
all the people that endorsed him that is
yes,
what's wrong with.
right.
And so, and
So
then not long, you know what I mean? Not long
right,
after
so
that,
so
when he
y'all need
said a
y'all need.
few things here and there, boy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, why was there like East versus West, red
For
versus
sure,
blue, all that?
for
Why
sure.
was there always a picture painted that that Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were joined forces against the racist white, when in actuality, Martin Luther King was supported and funded by someone that Malcolm X didn't even like,
Right. Well,
and
and he
Malcolm X,
found out
and
as
they
soon as
only met one time, bro.
because they all doing business together. You see what I'm saying? If Hunt, who owns 55 radio stations or Hunt or 500 radio stations and 55 fucking
500.
TV stations, 55 TV stations, he owns that. You know what I mean? Farrakhan needs to broadcast. Who the fuck do you think he's broadcasting with? On top of the fuck,
Boom.
who's been funding him. So, and then you see,
Yep.
that dude, he also is funding Martin Luther King because Hunt is in bed with the other motherfuckers that's in power, and it's just a big circle and conglomerate. So, like, we're gonna share a lot of these
And
people.
Hunt was a Zionist.
Yes, absolutely. 112%. See, all right, so we talked about Malcolm X, and we already know his counterparts is Martin. So we gotta go in on him too. So the documentary fucking hands Martin Luther King a fucking hands us a shit ton of information that would make
Right.
people think twice about who the fuck Martin Luther King was. So
And think about that, bro. A Zionist funded a Nation of Islam movement
ain't
that
that
had a
weird?
Muslim, like that is, oh my God. Like, and then on the
Before
other
Malcolm
hand,
X died,
Martin Luther King was speaking the peaceful Christian way
yes,
of things.
yes. So check it. The difference. Malcolm X was literally before he died said that look at the leaders that these motherfuckers have given the black community. They say Martin Luther King's a leader, but then he's meeting with fighters, and he's meeting with artists, he's meeting with musicians, and he's meeting with these people. He's doing this with them people aren't leaders. He's like those are
He
puppets
said,
put into
Dick
put into
Gregory.
place. Dick Gregory, comedians. He's like, who you don't follow comedians. You follow
Yeah.
leaders. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So
he said, he did say that. He said, show me in the white community where a comedian is a leader.
Yes.
He said, these people aren't leaders. Like you just
Yeah.
said, they're puppets. They're put there to say exactly what the fuck they're supposed to say.
So, he's giving you the extreme of shit, right? So then when we speak about Martin Luther King, we got to talk about, we're all familiar about his accomplishments, or quote unquote accomplishments, in the contrast of him and Malcolm. So we can see the difference, you know what I mean, and we're very familiar with that. So let's keep that in mind. So we know that MLK was heavily promoted by the Christian community, and even though he was different from Malcolm, one thing that was still the same was that he was on the FBI's watch list, just like Malcolm X. But the question that we all ask is why? Like, if he was truly a Christian and all that other shit, then why was he on the fucking list? And the question is the communist thing. And did he have communist ties? And as the intelligence community expected, according to the Attorney General Robert Kennedy and the White House, that's what they thought. They thought he had connections to being a communist. So now we have to break down this other fucking view of Martin Luther King for you. So just bear with us, because you're gonna have to see both sides of all of these characters. And I know we only got 45 minutes left, but we're gonna try to get through it as fast as we can. But
hey, you know what though?
Go ahead.
There's no rush. There's really
right.
no rush.
You're
And why don't we do this? I know it's been pretty intense. So this song goes right along with what we're talking about.
There lies
just
our
reset the room.
Mindful Monday. Damn, I'm mindful.
Remember, their lies are our truth.
Fucking facts, y'all.
And inside of that statement, there lies our truth.
Roll up. We got a lot more coming. Yeah. Look at me, I'm the one that you came for. I'm everything you ever wanted, no change though. I'm the cheddar, the green, the guap and the cream, the bread and the butter, but man make the dough.
Go check out thinkhighcrew.com. Shoot.
I'm the reason niggas kill folk and make the lies that you call true. I'm the reason why they call troops and drop bombs on the land till they call truce. I'm the false truth. The American dream ain't nothing it seems until you believe and make me your king. Be slaved by me and these shackles are free. And they got diamonds, man, look how they bling. I'm the reason why they rap and the reason why they sing. And why niggas told gas just to jack everything. I'm your purpose for living, forget everything but my lies are our truth. Their lies are truth.
Some songs, they just got to be explained because the industry's been dumbed down.
Truth. If you catch us alive on a ride, I'll provide you with truth. Just listen to the lies are our truth. Their lies are true. Why you waiting on God to decide and finally realize it was all just a lie? I
got my eye on you too, making sure you brainwashed through the YouTube. I'ma get your kids lost in the most views. Show them how I boss move, trying to fit a guy's shoes.
Killing it.
Bars, no lawsuit.
Killing
But when the
it.
consequences fall through, watch it all fall down till the goat don't move. As the violence ensues, I'll broadcast it all on the news. And tell you there's no choice but lose. And tell you there's no voice but that of my own. If you value your own, stay quiet or get silenced like phones. I am all in your home. I control what you do, what to buy and consume. I make truth out of lies, and if you don't comply, I send Jacqueline Hyde to make sure that you die. Their lies are truth.
See?
Their lies are our truth. If you conscious in the lie, wanna ride, I provide you with truth. Just listen to the lies. Their lies are our truth. Their lies are truth. Why you waiting on God to decide and finally realize it was all just a lie? How you living is a lie.
Yeah.
What you dreaming is a lie. What is best, how you dress, the power is sex. Even every choice is different, false pretense. Because their lies are our truth. Their lies are truth. Why you waiting on God to decide and finally realize it was all just a lie? Say goodbye to everything you knew. You're now faced with the demon in you. I'm the evil that you try to hide. Those thoughts are suicide, homicide, genocide. I'm hated, it's more masochistic. Hades couldn't fathom this shit. I'm the reason why grip exists, bitch. Put me in the room with the purest. Betty coming out like Judas. Show me all the truth and I shoot it. Put holes in the honest man movement, cause the honest man stupid, yeah, the honest man useless. Ain't no money in the truth, and the love of money is my root. So as long as you dummies stay hungry for the bread like seagulls, I'ma spread evil on the wings of an eagle. Used to be arrows and olives, now it's money and power. I took heroes and scholars and turned them to villains and martyrs. I'm a limitless author. Watch you paint a pic so sick with the blood of your kin and the tears of revenge. Watch my masterpiece unfold in the end. Here, you can see it better if you sitting on these rims. And I'll give you all of this money so you can have all of the influence. And I think it's all just so funny cause I gave you the truth. Now look what you do with it. Exactly what I wanted. Keep frontin', hoping eventually it'll mean something. Cause when it's all said and done with, I'll remain to do the same to the next generation of lames that can't love.
All right, man. Let's get back into it. That was a
Woo!
nice little recharge
I'm
break, and
smoking.
everything in there is going with what we're talking about. So, like I said, sometimes
Hey, it's
I
dope
think
that you
certain
put that
songs,
because
certain
he
songs need to
called
be explained. You know what I mean?
absolutely. And he called Act Two, that we were talking about. We were in, so Act Two or whatever, and the motherfuckers called it. I can't remember what the fuck he called it, but it was something on the
Don't
lines of
shoot the
that.
messenger.
Don't shoot the messenger,
Yep.
absolutely, or shoot the messenger, some shit like
Yeah,
that.
whatever it is, one of them.
Yeah.
I'm always like, I'm the one always saying, "Don't shoot the messenger," because a lot of times
Yeah.
I'm the messenger, and motherfuckers just get mad at me. I'm like, bro, it's not my idea here.
At
Okay, I'm
all,
just
bro.
just telling you
So
about it.
so now we've reached all the way to the point where like we're questioning if Martin Luther King was a communist.
Yeah, we're like,
Crazy,
whoa,
right?
whoa, wait.
And I
We knew
know,
we were told Malcolm X was
bruh,
bad, right?
but
Right? We knew he was
we
the
went
militant
from
one, but wait a minute, he might not have been
but where we started though,
what's wrong with militant?
where we started was with a motherfucker in 17 somewhere in fucking, Italy or some
Playing the
shit. You know what I'm
violin,
saying?
bro.
Playing a violin.
His
So
mama made a deal with the devil,
so
and we'll find out who the devil is later.
woo shit. So just bear with us. We all the way here now. So we're here to figuring out. We talked about Malcolm X. We talked about the people who had controlling interests in a lot of shit. Now we've said some names, we've said some places, we've said some years and events. So just try to bear with us, and we will be connecting all the dots for you. So just bear in mind. So we're here talking about motherfucking MLK
Did you want
and
to say something about myth racism? A study
Mithracism.
of
Yeah. So
Mithracism?
I am. That's exactly the first thing I'm gonna get
Okay,
into.
I was
Absolutely.
making sure.
I'm gonna. Oh yeah, you got, bro. That was so crazy is that I don't know how good your memory is, but goddamn, for a motherfucker who smoked, I couldn't remember all of this shit that you remembering. Like I literally took notes. I'm fucking got notes. You know what I mean? I
Well,
got
I'm
days
just
of notes, and this nigga's
that's why I
just
told
fucking
you. I was like, I
firing.
can remember the points. I just can't remember everything in and out there.
Man,
But
I'm gonna give you the in and outs, and you just you help me out with some shit that I ain't got written down here. So, so Was he a communist? Was he a Christian? What the fuck was he doing? Now, like I said, Robert Kennedy and the Attorney General's office in the White House thought so. So, also according to papers published by King himself, he suggested he didn't even believe in the Virgin of Mary, the Jesus entity, the virgin birth. And there's a paper
Thank
called
you for
"The
saying that,
Study
because I wanted.
of Mithraism." He wrote it. It's a Stanford written article by no other than Martin Luther King. Actually, his name
Himself,
was Michael, and I just found that
Michael,
out at 36 years old that his real name was fucking
Michael,
Michael King. And I told my cousin
Michael,
MJ, who's almost 50, and that nigga said, "What?" He Googled it
and
because he thought I was bullshitting. And he was like, how come I didn't know this nigga's name was Michael?
Michael just shows you
Mike,
how even
Mike King.
the
I'm going to call him Mike King from here on out.
Mike, Big Mike, damn it, here we go.
He
All right,
little
so
Mike.
right. Oh, he was
But yeah.
very he looked like he was like a Kevin Hart type dude or whatever.
Right. So then,
You know what I mean?
so you're like, okay, so you find out that he published articles himself.
What about Bavard Rustin?
Hold on, Baynard. So now we got to look at, so who was he
Yeah,
fucking
sorry.
with on top of that? So he knows.
Baynard.
So now we've got an idea that he might not even believe in Christianity, right? And then you're like, so who is he fucking with that's got this motherfucker doing what he doing? So you lean towards Baynard Rustin is the first motherfucker that comes up in this motherfucking documentary about about what we're talking about. And Baynard Rustin was an advisor to King. He wrote speeches, and he was an openly gay civil rights activist and an organizer for the Young Communist League.
Right?
Yep. So then you be like, okay, so now we see that
So
even
then
his
it's like,
homies.
even Stanley D. Levinson.
Wait, so we go. Wait. So, sorry. He was an organizer for that. So he was also connected to Jewish organizations such as the New York Council of the American Jewish Congress. Rustin also introduced King to Stanley D. Levinson, who would later become another one of King's advisors and a suspected Soviet spy. Levinson was a lawyer, and he was the vice president of the New York Council of the American Jewish Congress. He raised funds, wrote speeches, and he organized events. He was super part of
Martin, Michael,
Mike.
Michael.
Why are you kicking it with these niggas, Mike?
Mike.
He was a part of the defense. So Levinson was a part of the defense team for Julius and Ethel Rosenberg. Y'all remember those guys?
Whoa. Susan Rosenberg. Rosenberg is involved with Black Lives Matter. That's
hold on though. I'm talking about her cousins.
I know, but I just had to talk about her. She's involved with fucking Black Lives Matter. This is crazy, bro.
This is crazy because these are her cousins. So listen, so check it.
Mike, what you doing hanging out with these people, Mike? Mike, bro. Mike. Oh, man.
This nigga motherfucking Levinson, he was on the defense team for Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, who were the first Americans executed for conspiracy to commit espionage. And they were the first to suffer the penalty during peace times for their role in disclosing secrets to the Soviet Union in relation to the Manhattan Project. Whoa. So
and while you're talking about that communist vibe,
right?
I mean, we already said Susan Rosenberg was the cousin of the person that was put to death for
these two,
and so she was involved with Black Lives Matter. And then you go to Coretta Scott King, which you find out she was also a member.
Wait, no. So wait, you gotta wait before you do that. Before you go there, right? Their children. So those two were put to death, right? Those two were put to death for espionage.
I
children,
fucked up when I skipped over that.
Yeah, their children was adopted by a former Communist Party member who met the kids at a party that was hosted by W.E.B. Du Bois or Dubois. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Dubois.
D-U-B-O-I-S. Is
Dubois. Sometimes it's Dubois, sometimes it's Dubois. You know what I mean?
Dubois. Where you at, my thesaurus? I see you got your mic on. Dubois, my nigga. So remember W.E.B. Dubois. It's not a common name, so it should be easy to remember. So some suspected that the Julius and Ethel were related to who? Susan Rosenberg, who Nova couldn't help but shout out, who participated in
Mm-mm.
a bank robbery, and she was also a known communist. So Dr. King's wife, she was the one who was handling, or she was the one who Levison talked to. She was the go through. So Coretta sat in the back, did her thing. She was the role, and the money being funneled to Levinson from the Soviet Union was coming from a Jew named Isidore G. Needleman, who was a KGB Secret Service police agent fronting as an officer of AMTOR, which was the first trade representative of the Soviet Union in the United States, established in New York in 1924. So all right, I might have to rewind that for y'all, so you help y'all understand this web of fuckery that's going on right here.
Yeah, and the companies that were involved in that too. That little
Right,
trading thing you're talking about.
right.
Holy
So,
fuck,
holy
man.
shit. So wait, so they think Dr. King was connected to communism for three reasons, for a lot of reasons actually.
Not
So
just
he
one
was
like
friends,
one
right?
not
He
just
was
one
friend,
off the wall reason.
right?
Like we got some real people
His
that exist
homies.
here.
His
You
homies.
know
So
what
like
I'm
I'm gonna
saying?
show
Like
you, I'm gonna talk about a picture of these motherfuckers in the picture together, actually in a communist training school. Like this shit goes deep, guys. So whew, Levison was
this
a
is the
lawyer.
epitome of receipts.
Understand? Mr. King, Mike King, was friends with Levison. Levison was a lawyer, the VP of the New York Council of the American Jewish Congress. He raised funds, he wrote speeches for King. He was a part of the defense team for Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, who were executed for the conspiracy to commit espionage by giving secrets to the Soviet Union about the Manhattan Project. Their
Wrote
children
speeches
were,
for King. That's all
yes,
you need to know. Wrote
yes,
speeches for
their
King.
children,
That breaks
this is
down
how.
the whole narrative right there.
Absolutely. Their children was adopted by another communist party member, and they suspect that they were also related to, that the Rosenbergs were related. But then Dr. King's wife was the go through for Levinson, and the money that was being funneled to Levinson to go to the Kings was from the Soviet Union, was coming from a Jew named Isidore G. Needleman. He was a KGB secret police agent fronting as an officer for AMTOR, which was the first trade representative of the Soviet Union in the United States, established in 1924. AMTOR did negotiating contracts with major American companies like Ford, GE, DuPont, RCA. They also negotiated with Nikola Tesla in 1935, according to the unclassified FBI archives. And the Soviet intel, or Soviet, what you want to say, or not conspiracy, but Soviet intelligence suggests that Amtor was the main source of information to the Soviets in New York. So boom. I don't know how else do you not get fucking picked up for crimes against or for espionage when these are the friends, that these are the people who writing your speeches. These are the people that's funding your events. These are the people who's putting the money together and organizing the shit for you to walk and do these marches and to do this shit and to do all of this. So you have to put it all in perspective that these are the motherfuckers behind Dr. King. Um
Yeah.
so
Like
it
there
get
I don't mean, like
yeah.
we're how many other black folks do those people we just listed interact with?
All right, so we have
You
a
see what I
saying that we
mean?
need to,
Like
yes, we have a, and I'm just gonna piggyback you right now. Thanks for the oop, because we have a saying that says a motherfucker, a person, a human being is as light as they can be, is as dark as they can be, and that's something that we need to put on the shirt. What is, as it is above, so shall be below. We only hear all the good shit Dr. Martin Luther King does. We don't hear that our own United States government had him pegged as a communist, and this is why. These are the reasons why
Where
they
where
had him
does
pegged
that
as a
saying
communist.
where does that saying originate from? Do you know?
Shit, I have no, I don't. Hit me.
It stems from the Order of the Golden Dawn and those lines.
See, hey, and we said the homie who was the violinist was a part of. Good shit. Thank you, nigga. What? But so it goes even deeper, guys. You know what I mean? Like we got about a halfie, so I want to try to get through as much of this as I can because there was a
Yeah. So
lot about
basically,
MLK.
what was just kind of established for anybody that just popped in or is kind of like, well, what does all this mean? Well, what this means at this point is there was a reason why the FBI was fucking with and watching Martin Luther King Jr. It's not just because I'm not saying that it could not be a reason,
Right,
but it's not just because the
right,
government was racist against him.
right. No,
Do you,
well, it was literally because he maybe unknowingly or unbewillingly or
He could have influenced a lot of
yeah,
black
he did.
and
He
white
didn't
people to become
understand.
communist and
Right,
you
didn't
he
also have
even
didn't.
to understand the
Yeah.
he
genesis of
wasn't
the
trying to do that.
Go ahead though. Sorry, Mega.
No, I was saying you have to understand the genesis of the FBI itself before that, what it was created to
Oh,
do.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It was created to infiltrate these type of things because, and the connections, the dots, and I love it because we a lot of us are dot connectors and we can't help but just
Yeah,
be like, you know what I mean? Oh
that
my
dot
God,
would be that the FBI was
yeah,
created to stop the Black Panthers.
yes, but
That's what it was actually created for.
yeah, but it was doing a lot of different shit. And what I've come to realize is that they say that the United States government was watching him because of of the movement with the black people in the civil rights movement, right? That's the government's excuse, but the government has way more information than obviously it's telling its people, and the government also knows why it's doing that. And there's information that still isn't allowed to be released until 2027 about Dr. King that we won't get until 2027. So you understand that all things cannot be answered right away. You know what I mean? So there's going to be
Yep.
more to this even when in 2027 when it comes. But so just to give you even more because these motherfuckers went that fucking deep, okay? They were like, okay, so you think that? All right, so 1945. You think that's it? You think that's the only reason why we think that? No. Here we go. 1945. The International Labor of Defense and National Federation for Constitutional Liberties merged with
Boom.
the National Negro Congress to form the Civil Rights Congress, which was led by a friend of MLK, William L. Patterson, also former a follower of Ben Davis, a known communist councilman from Harlem, Hunter Pitts. Hunter Pitts Odell, which was a national committee, part of the national committee of the Communist Party. These are all friends of Martin Luther King. James Dombrowski, he registered as an agent with Fidel Castro. Carl and L. Braden, journalist and communist activist. Carl preceded Barack Obama as the ad editor of Harvard Law
Mm,
Review. So there goes that book again.
mm-hmm.
Who edited it? Anyways, in '54, the Bardens purchased a home for a black couple in an all white neighborhood. That house was vandalized, burned up, and later bombed. And the house that and Carl Braden was charged for sedition because he was proven that it was his friend that did the bombing, and the white segregationalists weren't the ones who did the fucking bombing. So MLK, and guess what? Guess what? There's a connection. So I'm not just going to tell you that information just because MLK was the his biggest advocate in helping him get out of jail, and he was facing a 15-year bid.
Yep.
So
And
like these are the people.
they also had these people had during this exact time that you're talking about, they had what was called training schools for communists.
See,
And
and
these
that's
were
what I was gonna.
packed fucking houses. I mean, a
That's what I
packed
was gonna get
house.
into next.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was
Oh
just
no, no,
gonna
you're good.
yeah.
You that's
But
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
they
Like your
had
flow is
these
dope. Go ahead, you got it.
they had these like say for instance like a like maybe a church, not a
Yeah,
really fancy church, or maybe like a
yeah.
building that you might have like some kind of
Put it like
convention
this.
in or whatever.
Put it like this.
These
So
fucking places were packed full of people
yeah,
that were there to be trained how to be a communist. And you
right.
think the United States government ain't finna do something about that?
And let me give more detail in for you. MLK was highly involved in. They were called Highlander folk schools, and is allegedly. I guess you would say, a school for training communists. It was one. The main one was in Tennessee. There's another nigga also, right? So they got this picture of MLK. Next to MLK is Abner Berry. He was a
And I'm
member of
glad you
this.
said Tennessee because that I just want to say when we first started, those people we were talking about were from Mississippi and Tennessee that were playing the
Yes, sir.
music.
Yes, sir.
So all this is still right there now.
Yes, sir. It's all the vibration is right
We
there.
went to
So
Dallas, Texas, and then we're back to Tennessee.
And now we're sitting in the motherfucking communist teaching school, and there's a picture, and then in this picture you have MLK, and then next to MLK you have Abner Berry. He was found to be a member of the Central Committee of the Communist Party. Aubrey Williams, who was a communist agent, president of the South Conference Educational Fund, and number 4 next to him is the head of the Highlander Folk School, Miles Horton. So the
And
school,
then the
yeah,
person that probably was majority funder in this was
yeah.
Hunt. We got to remember
No,
that.
it was funded by Julius Rosenwald.
I'm glad you
He was
said
the
that.
head of Sears Roebuck Company. And sitting on that same Sears committee was Gaylord Freeman and John Drick. Both of those was grandmasters of the Priory of Sion at the First National Bank of Chicago, as well as Thomas G. Ayers, the father of Bill Ayers. The Rosenwald Foundation funded all types of black schools. They funded and they used Booker T. Washington, a known Freemason at the Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute, to help fund communist front groups and the
that du-
NAACP.
and that Dubose guy. Remember
Yes.
him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Stop it. No, how do you do this shit with no fucking notes? Nigga,
I
like that
don't
is
know.
next in my notes. It's W.E.B. Du Bois is the founder of the
Yeah.
NAACP, and Rosa Parks also attended the same Highlander Folk School months before her
Woo! Now
famous fucking
remember,
incident.
remember we talked about Rosa Parks not long ago, and we said, was she a plant?
Oh my gosh, that's a great fucking question. So I'm gonna give that one more recap of this fuckery. This nigga, Martin Luther King, is sitting in a room. The room is supposedly in a school that is for teaching communism. Okay? He's sitting next to Abner Berry, member of the Central Committee of the Communist Party. Aubrey Williams, communist agent and president of the Southern Conference Educational Fund. Remember that. Head of Highlander Folk School, Miles Horton. School was funded by Julius Rosenwald. It was a Julius Rosenwald fund, who once was the head of Sears Roebuck Company. Sitting on the same Sears committee was Gaylord Freeman, John Drick, both Grand Masters of the First National Bank of Chicago, as well as Thomas G. Ayers, the father of Bill Ayers. Rosenwald Foundation also funded, throughout the whole South. They show a map, right, of all the schools that these motherfucker funded. He basically funded damn near all the motherfucking schools in the South that were black schools. He used Booker T. Washington, a known black Freemason at the Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute, also funding. He was a that dude was a communist. A group, and he funded the communist groups as well as the NAACP. Now you remember W.E. Du Bois? He was the founder of the NAACP, and Rosa Parks was attending the same Highlander School in Tennessee 3 months. I think it was about 3 months before she had her famous incident. And she was also a member of the Eastern Star. Also founded by Rosenwald was the
Now
American Social.
hold on. Let me just stop you
Okay,
real quick, and let me
my
just
bad,
make
cause
sure
that, cause
everybody
woo,
knows we're in
shit.
Tennessee right now. All right.
Right.
Now
Yes.
we're gonna go from Tennessee to the same place in Alabama, and these same people are involved. Just think about
Bro,
that.
I'm
So
gonna
if they're
take you
not
to. Then I could
connected,
take you to.
no, I
Go
just
ahead. I'm
wanted to
sorry.
mention
You
that,
got it.
like these same influential people that we all know are part of this Black History Month that we're in right now, that were so influential.
Happy Black
They
History
are
Month.
all sticking together for some reason. Are they
Yes,
all
sir,
communists?
man. Who knows? But bro, like this is what I was saying. This motherfucking Killer Mike just won 3 Grammys. But what the fuck is actually going on here? The world is a fucking stage, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what the fuck we think it is, man. He's a political activist just like these niggas, just like Malcolm X, just like
Mm-hmm.
all this shit. You know what I'm saying? And you know how Chicago was, as Mega Watt says, in the 50s and 60s. Woo. So wait. So I'm gonna keep kicking it to you because we only got about 15 minutes, but I want to at least say 5 minutes for quick recap, and then we can get into this shit again tomorrow. But Okay, so they were funded through Booker T. Washington and
Booker T.
Booker T. And W.E.B. Du Bois was the
Booker
founder of
T.
NAACP, so we know that. And also he was funded. So Rosenwald Foundation also funded was they funded the American Social Hygiene Association, whose leaders were often into eugenics and Darwinism. So Rosenwald
Ooh.
himself was the VP of the Connecticut branch, which was led. Oh, excuse me, was the VP, and in the Connecticut branch was led by a doctor named Thomas Hepburn, and his wife is Catherine Martha Holton Hepburn, mother of actress Catherine Hepburn, and they
There you go.
co-founded, along with Margaret Sanger, the Birth Control League. There,
Boom.
later
Which
to be
became
known as
what?
what? Planned
Planned
fucking
Parenthood.
Parenthood. Rosenwald
Boom.
also donated 7 million to the studies of atomic weapons.
Dollars.
$7 million to the studies of atomic weapons. So also he was a
Which
member of
was
the
created by Oppenheimer.
yes. Yes. Hold on, Megawatt. There's more though, right? He also was a member. So you talking about Chicago, right? He was also a member of the Chicago Cyanide Congressional of B'nai Brith, Brith, in Jewish Mason. It's a Jewish Masonic organization. Emil Hirsch was the rabbi. Hirsch was the reason Rosenwald supported black schools and also funded the Atlanta branch of the B'nai Birth. Leo Frank was the owner of a lead plant. Who was also associated with that Atlanta branch, who was convicted of raping and killing his employees in 1913 in his factory. Rosenwald used his influence or tried to use his influence to free Leo Frank, but Leo Frank was later lynched by an angry mob. But Leo Frank's conviction led to the birth of the Benai. It says the Benai, or however you pronounce that, Bnai. I think it's pronounced Benai Brith Anti-Defamation League, in which was a Jewish espionage agency working under the cover of a civil rights organization. So this motherfucking Rosenwald was
Rosenwald.
funding so much shit. And they're all gonna be, you're gonna see the connection to them all. I'm sure you can, because if this one guy, that a Hunt dude, had owned all of these radio stations and television stations, I'm thinking that your brain's probably like, okay, well, that's what Hunt was, that's his position in this. And then this dude, he was funding all of the other fucking crazy shit that was going on, especially all of the schools to teach these children, teach these black people, and they were teaching them communism. So was it
Mm-hmm.
even the black people who even understood what they were learning, because hid it under the guise of communism, or was it just some Jewish people who were really smart and was thinking 3 steps ahead of these motherfuckers? So, whew, so now that company. So here we go. Leo Frank's conviction led to the formation of that B'nai Brith, the B'nai Brith Anti-Defamation League, which was a Jewish espionage agency working under the guise of a civil rights organization. And so Rosenwald's daughter Edith, right? She married this cotton king, one of the cotton kings, Edgar Stern, and then together they found the radio station WDFU and gave airtime to JFK's murder and Marxist Lee Harvey Oswald.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they partnered in NUMEC, which was a company for Nuclear Materials and Equipment Corporation. Now, that company was later charged with smuggling radioactive fuels to Israel and conducting fallout experiments on their employees. Oh
There's
my
no
god,
there's no coincidence here, right?
bro!
Y'all y'all
I
ain't
don't
y'all
think y'all get how fucking deep. All right, so look, these are the people, Martin. So just so you understand, these are the people that Martin Luther King is getting his speeches written by, is getting funded by, is having meetings, is getting schooled by.
so
They're
you really
schooling, they're
gotta
educating him,
did these people really give two flying fucks about what Martin Luther King was actually trying to do?
right? That's
Or
crazy,
were they
right?
just using him to recruit people to
Hmm.
become communists?
Maybe, or maybe they were setting it all up as a way. that if it caught on and did something, they can ride with it, or if it didn't, then they can just squash everybody out because they killed him, they
Mm-hmm.
killed his brother, they killed his mama. Like so, like we're gonna get to that. You know what I mean? But like it's just crazy how even though if he was doing all of this work for the government, right? But the government, but he was against the government at the same time. But the government took him out. Like you know what I mean? Doesn't It's almost like they were taking out their own trash. You know what I mean? So that's what it seems like to me. So now this new Met company, right? This Nuclear Materials and Equipment Corporation was later charged with smuggling that to Israel, and they basically say that Edith was close friends with Clay Shaw, who was also on trial for Kennedy's assassination. And another known communist associated with MLK was Robert Williams of North Carolina. He was the head of the NCAA in North Carolina. And Williams
Robert
was a
Franklin Williams, right?
Franklin Williams, yes. Williams was accused of
No, I was just
kidnapping.
wondering if that's the same one because I'm trying to remember as we go. You know what I
I
mean?
think so. Robert Franklin Williams, I think it was him. Um, he was the one accused of kidnapping and he fled to Cuba, right?
Yeah,
And he
yeah,
wrote that
yeah.
book. Okay, yes, that's him. He
He
wrote the
wrote
book.
Negroes with Guns or some shit.
Yes, and that was
Yeah.
supposedly detailing his civil rights struggle or whatever. But guess what? The forward, the part of the book that's called the forward. Guess who wrote that? Martin Luther King wrote that. Williams
Oh.
also had a radio show that he pirated, but then after he fell out with Fidel, he went to China with on the invitation
Oh
from
yeah,
Chairman
and we met
Mao
with fucking
himself.
Mao, bro.
Yeah, Mao
Yeah.
fucking said, "Come
There's
here."
actually pictures and shit too of them.
Yes, bro. Like this motherfucker
Mm-hmm.
got accused of kidnapping in the United States. My nigga fled to Cuba. This is
Fled
fled to Cuba, wrote a book. Martin
and
Luther King
was over
wrote the
there chilling
foreword
with
of the
Castro,
book,
bro.
chilling with Castro. He fell out with Castro. That's what it literally says. They had a falling out. So it was just they had a disagreement, and he went to China on an
Fucking
invitation
China.
from
Like, and
from
that shit
Mao.
ain't easy, bro. You see what I'm
No.
saying? Like, if you think about all this that's being said right now, you
And
to
then look,
just
so
fly
then
from
after that,
here
right?
and go meet with Mao, like you got to have a little bit
Yeah,
of goddamn pull to do that.
bro. But then you got Martin Luther King writing a part of your writing the forward of your book, whatever the fuck that
Yep,
part of that book. I don't know. I'm not a book writer, so I
exactly.
don't know what the forward of a book is. But he wrote the forward to his book. Martin Luther King wrote it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
his own hands. You know what I mean? So that's the introduction. Thank you, Megawatt. So Martin Luther King wrote the introduction himself. Okay, so what's even fucking crazier, right? All right, Williams and his wife was offered amnesty for information on China. So that's how I think they got back in the United States. But then
It
he
is
died in 96. And his eulogy was done by who? Rosa fucking Parks. So,
Parks.
and
Rosa
then on
fucking
April 4th,
Parks.
1967, obviously, MLK was shot after his mountaintop speech. And James Earl Ray was arrested. At first, he confessed to being guilty to claiming the death, but then later on his death, before he died, after escaping prison one time and shit like that, before he died on his deathbed or up until his death, he can he tried to basically retract his guilty plea and say that it was the government conspired MLK to kill MLK. And what's even fucking more wild, right? Judge Joe fucking
I
Brown
I was hoping you was
proceeded,
gonna say something
nigga.
about that.
I always wondered how this nigga get rich. How this nigga? Who is this nigga? Where did
I
he
know, right?
fucking come from? Right?
But
I've
he's
never.
always been talking the same shit though. He's
Yes,
never
he.
strayed. He's always
No, he
busting
has.
them out, bro.
He's a real ass nigga though, right? So
Yeah.
I'm about to make it to the end of my notes. I can't believe it. No, but actually
I'm
I made
glad
it
you
exactly to
got
the.
to Judge Joe Brown.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna
Judge Joe Brown proceeded over James Earl Ray's final appeal, and he says King was murdered by a
lie.
two-man team, an off spotter and an
Hold
on
on.
spotter.
Everybody listen. Judge Joe Brown, this came out of his fucking mouth.
Yes. Yes. He said Judge Joe Brown, he proceeded over James Earl Ray's his final appeal. He was the judge. And judge says that King was murdered. Judge Joe Brown says King was murdered by two men, a two-man team, an off spotter and an on spotter, and Earl Ray and the others were used as scapegoats. Obviously, he says that as well because AD King was found dead 15 months later after his brother Martin was killed, and he supposedly drowned in a pool with no water in his lung. 74, King's mom was shot and killed by a black Hebrew Israelite, and FBI files on King's allegations of infidelity in his sexual deviancies and watching a pastor rape a girl supposedly are sealed until 2027, and
And that's gonna
that's
come
how far
out.
I got into the shit, which
That's
is an
3 years
hour and
from
three
now,
minutes,
man.
bro. I know, and I only got an hour and 3 minutes into this motherfucking documentary. All that's 15. That's basically it
Yeah.
in a
Well, you
nutshell.
know what? I
There's
always ask
obviously
myself
small
that question
details,
too.
but right.
I always ask myself that same question. Where the fuck did, well, first of all, where do all these TV judges come from? And then are they real
Yes.
judges or are they just actors? And, I always wonder that about Judge Joe Brown because he'll come out and say shit about this crazy world we live in.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, bro, like he's hitting on some shit. And to see him in this and see what he was wearing, you see
And then
what
what's
he was
dope, maybe
wearing.
we can get Sloan on here tomorrow because Sloan was in the chats on
Exactly.
Friday. She said that she has family members that was, part of some details with shit, that had some information and shit. And you remember there's
With the
oh my,
FBI.
it's so much shit, guys. But like we went from a motherfucker in a different country,
We
17
went
from
from
17.
somebody I was about to say from from a violinist that made a deal, his mama
Ah!
made a deal with the devil,
Right.
to Tommy Johnson, which made a deal with the devil to learn how to play the guitar, to fucking Petey Wheatstraw, that was basically the first rapper with his music called the Stomps.
Sam Cooke, Klein, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and in between that, you got Lyndon B. Johnson, you
And there's
got
one
fucking
thing that didn't change
Hunt.
between all that was that there's a certain type of person that is
Yes.
funding all of it.
If they're not funding it, right? There's corporations that they own or that they deal with is funding it. There's a
Yep.
lot of front pieces in play. But if you watch it, so you got the Hunt and his 15 fucking kids, right? And they took positions in places, and I'm sure they're part of some shit that's still running right now. If we were to look up their lineage, I bet you they're a part of something, you know what I mean, continuously to this day. All of these
Oh yeah.
people, it's a small, very, very small circle, very very small circle, and like to have all of these connections at once, like this shit was blowing my mind to find out not only this but not only that and not only that and not only this, you know what I'm saying? So on top of all of that, like you're just like, god dang, man, what
Oh, and we're
this
just getting
is.
started.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's like I said, I took
This
15
is
pages of
like,
note on an hour and
look,
3 minutes of the fucking
w-
documentary. I got another hour and
next,
7 minutes
like
to go.
tomorrow, we're going to move into more modern day, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to figure out what that mask, what that kneel, what that take a knee, what all of that actually
Yes.
means, what
And
it
then
leads back to, and what is the big, what's the big, fuck, what's the word I'm trying to use? It's,
mhm,
the big coincidence there, basically.
mhm.
The all of these people that we're going to talk about tomorrow are a part of a certain little organization,
Oh yeah, we start to get
and
into more
they're
modern
all out with
times
it. They
tomorrow.
don't
We
deny
start to
it.
get into fraternities, and this is all episode 1, my niggas.
Yeah, this dude killed it, and
Yeah, he
so
did. Shout
we're
out to
gonna double
IPOT
kill it.
because they got the Kappas on here doing their dances. They got the so like then you're like, what the fuck does a fraternity have to do with this? What the fuck? See, that's what I mean. I love this first episode because the way he did it, and unfortunately, it might take us 2 episodes to cover this first episode just because we have our own introduction and we want to add our own spin to it. And obviously, we play a little music and shit in between. So we're gonna take our time with it. We'll finish it up. We'll finish up the first episode and it'll give you a basis. And then the second and the third episode, we'll probably combine them because it does a lot of connecting the dots. You know what I mean? So we're just gonna ping the dots for you, like bam, 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 bam. We ain't even gonna, we'll probably give you some details to it, but we want you to also encourage you to hop on Rumble, type in pot.
Yeah, because it's a review. You know what I mean? You should
Yeah.
watch it yourself too. We ain't
Yeah,
taking no
these
credit
are
for it. All we're doing is talking
nah,
about
hell
it.
nah. These are just notes, and these are notes that I made myself, and just summarizing what the fuck they are saying. You know what I'm saying? Love you too, Bunty. Appreciate you. Uh definitely. I appreciate everybody for showing up, and we'll be back for Pop, Sex, Satan, and the Babylon's Bole. Episode 1, finish that up, and we'll start diving into episode 2. You can watch it
Yeah.
right now on Rumble. It's IPOT, IPOT. Type that in, and the series is called Pop. And listen to episode or watch episode 1 with us. I'm gonna finish the rest tonight. I'm gonna finish taking notes on the rest of it tonight, and I can't wait to finish this up tomorrow, bro.
Yeah, we'll catch us tomorrow. Fuck around, find out Tuesday.
There are jeans that are easy for travel, but they're not travelers jeans. No, they're right back on the. Yeah, they're denim on the. Right.
Yeah, we like them jeans. In them jeans.
We not do
Let's
no
go.
Illuminati rituals, steady bitch boy. Dibby prick now, money clip soil. Okay, if we drip cancer in an oil. Okay, if we drip cancer in an oil. We not do no Illuminati rituals, steady bitch boy. Dibby prick now, money clip soil. Okay, if we drip cancer in an oil. Okay, if we drip cancer in.
Move. Get the fuck out the way. Rider get rolled over. Nobody came here for play. We sorry. Born straight from the Cali Yuga. Light could've never reached. Them flashes came from the shooters. Stone face killers, more squibber than a Medusa. Look her right in the eye. The reflection will hold the future. I'm nothing that I imagine. My power couldn't be fathomed. It's enough to scare myself when the mirror projects a dragon. Fire breathing, this ether became accelerant. Hop on the gas, think faster, be irrelevant. Mind your business, I'm nothing to ever meddle with. Unless you went to still, I suggest you remain pedestrian. And I'm just only being honest. Got a crack in the veil, I'm just speaking at my promise. This flow is on the spectrum, I'm just speaking to your conscience. Hope you receive the message, this blessing is something.
We not do no Illuminati rituals, steady bitch boy. Dibby prick now, money clip soil. Okay, if we drip cancer in an oil. Okay, if we drip cancer in an oil. We not do no Illuminati rituals, steady bitch boy. Dibby prick now, money clip soil. Okay, if we drip cancer in an oil. Okay, if we drip cancer in.
We will be back tomorrow for Fuck Around, Find Out Tuesday. Episode
Check
2
out.
for us.
Check out thinkhighcrew.com, man. We got
Yes,
some
sir.
new merch on there, branded shit. It's
Get
good
your
quality.
dad hats.
Yeah, get them dad hats too. We got the
Oh, and we got
snapbacks.
the hoodies up too.
We got D9 gummies.
Embroidered
fucking-
hoodies too, though. So like, it's not printed on; it's embroidered.
We got supplements to help you perform at your best.
And ain't
in
no
life
shipping
in
cost
general.
right now. So before
No,
Noble
not
puts
right
in the
now.
shipping information, y'all
Not
better
right
order
now,
some
damn
shit.
it.
No taxes either. No taxes or shipping. Hey.
But yeah, man, y'all come fuck with us at the
Yeah, the
website
hoodies
because
embroidered. It's
We
stitched.
we got our own little social forum on there, so we can chat and we can, kind of
Yeah,
build a
join
community.
us.
We got about
This has
5
been
seconds.
awesome. Appreciate y'all.
We got it.